Good day, everyone. It's the Hybrid Live Show. I'm as excited as I've been in my entire life to talk about a HYROX event. Joining me, as almost always, is my favorite Canadian purveyor of unsolicited opinions. I almost said unsolicited. I'm really bad. It's Dave Claxton way up in Canada. Hey, Dave.
Hola.
And the HYROX superfan himself, head of the Hybrid Engine, Anthony Parasini.
How's it going, Matt? How you guys doing today?
I'm really excited. I have many things to talk about.
Go
ahead.
I read Dave's thing, and for some reason it didn't click in my head. I thought it said purveyor of unsolicited orphans at first. And until you said opinions, it didn't click in my head that it said opinions.
No, I haven't sold an orphan in a long time.
Can you not get us canceled, dude? The AI is going to pick that up, and we're going to get fucking shut down for... I'm not even going to say the word. It really looks for that stuff. Oh, speaking of which, I got shut down. I'll bring my guests in a moment. So I was live for Lance's thing. I'll go. I didn't want to go live the whole time. I hate holding the phone for an hour. I hate having an hour upload on the phone. So I'm like, I'll film a bunch and then I'll do lunges and wall balls. And so I was live and I was at the finish and it was getting close to the finish. And it just pops up. It says, "This is music. You don't have the rights to it. We are shutting you down." And about 4 seconds later, it goes, "File deleted." And I know many of us have gone live before. And so my only theory on it is that I was right next to Coach's speaker. So instead of it just being kind of background, it was like literally like you're hearing fucking Back in Black loud as day. And it's like, see you later. So if you're going to go live at an event, don't be too close to the speakers. That's my theory.
You don't think it was for using Lance Armstrong's likeness and image?
It could have been that too. But it was very upset.
They thought you were an AI deep fake.
There you go.
Perhaps. Speaking of deep fake, some people think, how could you have a team named All Matt, right? Is that even real? When I registered us on site, they were like, the girl said to me, she goes, "I need Matt." And I thought she was kidding because she was like calling us up to like give us the chips. I said, "Can you be more specific?" And then she scrolled and she was like, "Oh, you're all named Matt." Anyhow, I put a team together of all Matts, and I thought they were there this weekend. Let's bring them on. Maybe they'll join us the whole time. Maybe they'll stay with us for some of the time, but certainly to talk about our amazing race. So first up is Matt Kemp, the guy that everybody used to call Matt Kempson. Are you at a WeWork too? You have the same thing as me.
I might freaking flag though. I thought about it after I left this morning, but that would have been nice. I probably would have put it up backwards like I did in the picture.
Can you believe those two selfish motherfuckers didn't even say anything? We've talked for how many minutes now? 3 minutes and 17 seconds and no like, "Oh, what's that behind you, Matt?" Anyhow, we'll get to that. And then
it's further down on the list.
I know, but come on.
Deviate from the list.
You told me we couldn't switch the list up, so
it was exactly right.
All right. Well, look, here is.
Oh, he's got his flag in the background too. There you go.
Oh, look at this. Look at this.
I blew it.
Yep.
You really blew it, Matt. I love that we both have the same cute little thing, though.
Same booth, right?
How come I can't get us to be all in the big screen there? Oh man, I hate this.
Shape of 5, yeah.
We should be able to do this, but without. I'm going to remove the background for a minute. How about that? This is bugging me. Sorry, guys. I'm still not an expert yet. There we go. Wow, it's a lot of people. This is like the Brady Bunch situation. The first thing,
missing a Matt.
We are missing a Matt. He's on a roof somewhere. He's got roof issues. He says he's watching. I think he just made the first comment.
He's commented twice.
So there you go. So we're going to start. And now that you've been introduced, guests, even though you haven't said anything, Matt H., we're going to just start by talking about the general vibe. 4 of the 5 of us were there. And Dave, I put you on the spot and said, because the first thing you said to me was complaining. You were doing an awful lot of complaining. So I put you on the spot and I was like, "What do you hate about this place?" And you're like, "Well, I love it, but the traffic sucks and the judging sucks and everything sucks and blah, blah, blah." So let's start with the vibe. Let's go through the negatives first, Dave.
Oh man, I don't. Oh, you want? I have a list.
Okay, let's talk the positives then. Let's talk the
Yeah,
positives.
let's do that first.
Okay. All right. So, camp. This was what, your 5th HYROX?
I think my 6th actually. I think my 6th solo and maybe 7th total.
God, this is like talking to myself. It's the similar. It's not just the same room, but it's the same audio, except I have a microphone. It's like I'm talking to myself with a longer face. You have a longer face than me. So anyway, tell me your thoughts. This is your home city, so you got to ride the train or a city bike or
actually my mom drove me, so just
or a
like
giant or a giant rat, whatever you did.
So my mom actually drove me there. We got parking. I paid for parking. I booked parking in advance, so I was able to figure that out. But yeah, it was nice to sleep in my own bed before HYROX. Overall, I thought it was good. I thought it was like a good vibe, but it was just a little or very crowded. That was the only downside. Like the crosswalk thing was a little different, where it was like there were 2 crosswalks in the same crosswalk, and I didn't realize that at first. When I first got there, I just wandered onto the course because I assumed where everyone was standing was where the real crosswalk is. Overall, I think it's the kind of venue that is like awesome for new people, awesome for someone who's never done it before, and you're kind of there to complete it. A little difficult on the competitive side. I think it worked to my advantage. I didn't qualify for Worlds. That was my goal. I ended up 28 seconds effing short of it. I think like if everyone in my age group ran at the same time, I think it might have been different, because I think a lot of guys ran later, and I think that they were just. I think a lot of people in the afternoon, like, you couldn't run faster than an hour, 5-10 minutes no matter what you did, because it was so crowded out there and so busy. But I do think the venue is like really like an awesome venue. I remember saying this to you on Saturday night, Matt. I think it would be an awesome, like, obviously they can't control the weather, but like a Friday night Elite 15 venue, that'd be like a great venue for it. I think like you put bigger bleachers in there, put them in the center, but then it's like, what if it rains? Like, what do you do? So there's always we got lucky with some nice sunny days, but it was hot, and just like the water situation became an issue for people later in the day. So I thought the vibe was awesome, but I can understand from the competitive side could be like a little difficult.
So Matt Halfhill, you and I have become pals here over the last few months. You are, this was your 3rd?
4th.
Your 4th.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to just give everyone the quick kind of what you said to me about, how you found this in your life at age, I don't know what you are, mid-30s?
39. I found
old enough to qualify for a plus 40 team, but go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. So I found out about it just last year. Someone had shared a story and mentioned HYROX as it was actually, they were sharing a pervy comment that somebody had put on their page. And I saw HYROX and I'm like, what is this? And at first I was thinking, is this the fake Oreos? Like, I don't understand the context. And I Googled HYROX and I saw what it was, and I thought, oh my God, this is amazing. I've been looking for some kind of challenge, and this is it. I want to do this. So I signed up for the Dallas race, the Dallas in 2023, the fall one, right at about a year ago. I think it was like the first week of June that I signed up for it. Did all the training on my own up until like about a month or 6 weeks before I found a local trainer here, Allison Outlaw, that I trained with. Did a couple runs. That was the first time I ever touched a sled, ever saw a burpee broad jump in real life or anything like that. So got into it and loved it. And I've been hooked ever since.
And so how would you compare this one to your other HYROXes? Like, I mean, you were there. Actually, why don't you give us the Friday vibes? Because you went to like the David Magida panel or whatever. I mean, it was actually
that was actually on Thursday. Thursday was a shakeout run. Yeah, from the Puma on 5th Ave. We went running through Central Park, and then they had a great, event at the store afterwards for everyone. And I thought it was great to have the panel of athletes, including some CrossFitters, some very notable CrossFitters coming in and doing HYROX for the first time. I thought that was really smart by Puma to actually have some of their athletes on the CrossFit side do HYROX. Because it's one of the most common things you see online in comment sections is, how does this compare to CrossFit, or could CrossFitters do this, or the little drama and beef between HYROXers and CrossFitters on, the sport.
So, Chandler Smith did a doubles before. Him and Hepner raced Hunter in a doubles. What was it 3 years ago now? They beat him by 1 second.
Yeah, and
Yeah, we'll get to that as part of our Lance/Invictus Plus conversation.
Okay.
So then Friday
on the schedule.
No, it's fine that he mentioned it.
Well, I had a question. I actually have a question for Matt Halfhill. What shoes did you wear?
I wore the Saucony Endorphin Pro 4. This is the first time I wore the Pro 4. I wore the Pro 3s in my first 3 races. And I have to say the 4 is such an improvement as a HYROX shoe. I hold the 3 solely responsible for fucking up my PR in the Anaheim race. Because I'll take blame for never training in a super shoe during my 2 months between Houston and Anaheim. But I totally forgot how much thicker they are in the heel and how much they round in the forefoot. So when I took my first lunge, I thought to myself, oh, fuck. Like I knew right away I screwed up. And then when it came to the wall balls, I headed into wall balls on track to 2-minute PR, and I end up missing the PR by 35 minutes. Spent 7 minutes on wall balls, and I could not get my feet right, always feeling like I'm rolling forward in those shoes. And with the 4s, not an issue with that.
Okay. I don't know what the difference is. I haven't seen the 4s yet. So.
And what did I run in?
You ran in the Puma DV8 Nitro 2s.
And I enjoyed those because in my previous HYROX, I just kind of roll up in my floppy Hokas because I don't really have any flat training shoes. And honestly, my run times were not any faster if you compare my run times, but what's the word? Mentally, I was like, oh, I'm in the right shoes. They were confidence building. So I'm glad I wore the quote unquote right shoes. Kemp, what do you usually race in?
This is my first HYROX I have the Endorphin Pro 3, but before that I wore Endorphin Speeds for the previous race, and before that I was just random shoes I got from my local running store. It wasn't as HYROX specific, I guess.
All right, so let's back up though. So you talked about Thursday, and then Friday there was another event going on, and I landed at whatever time I landed. We were going to make our way over to the pier to see what's what and tell folks what we saw. Well, we were going to do the group run, which we didn't do, or you were going to do the group run, which we didn't do, led by some influencers, which I'm not necessarily a fan of, running with influencers. But anyway, but what happened when we got there? What did you see when we got there on Friday?
Yeah, so a couple of groups had gatherings there. Shakeout Runs, Powerlift was there, as well as Represent 24/7. Both had quite a few people who are in the race who are also HYROX ambassadors to lead the runs, and it was just a very chill place for a lot of people to get to meet elite athletes and whatnot, who they might have seen on social media before. So it's I think one of the positive things about HYROX is, a lot of accessibility to some of the names that they know that they see on the leaderboards are, open to community gatherings like this.
Yeah. So I thought it was super cool. I mean, New York I haven't been to New York in a long time, and I know it's old hat for you, Kemp, and I know Matt, you travel a little bit to New York, but it is a vibe. Just walking the streets, it is a vibe. And you're going to see, if you don't live in a big city, I mean, I live in a big city, but it's still not as international. Atlanta clearly has all shapes and sizes, but I mean, you land in New York and immediately you are surrounded by languages, cultures, smells, stuff you haven't seen. And it's awesome. If you like that kind of thing. Jeff Marier, my big videographer, if you're listening, he hated it when we went up to New York for something, but I love it. So, and I forgot to tell you, Kemp, we'll get to this, at the end of our race, but we went to get pizza at that place and you should have walked in because that guy was exactly the kind of guy that you'd think would work at that place at that hour. And he was just like a guy, just like Nicky Cass. He was this big, huge, fat guy. I turned to Halfhill and I said, we're in the right place. If that's the fucking cook, right? Hey, what do you want? What do you got? What do you want next? What do you want? Say louder. Say louder. And and different people came and went, and it's clear that he's beloved. Like different people came in and talked to him, and I'm guessing those were all his sons. Maybe they weren't, but anyway. So New York itself is awesome, and then rolling up to that place on Saturday morning, and the music hits you, and you see all the people, and it's typical HYROX, lots of fit people looking good and feeling good, and it's like, wow, like we're like this is a thing, right? And then when you add like that Lance is there and these big HYROX names are there, it was a vibe, man. It certainly I won't like, they may all run together after a while, but that one won't. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think the outdoor side of it was just interesting. I feel like, and we can get into this more later. We'll talk about other venues and things, but I think that's what they're going. I think what HYROX is starting to. I think this is where where maybe Dave has some points on this as well. Also, is like with their Berlin venue, they got a lot of feedback about like, hey, it's an awesome venue, but like, where does the awesome venue versus the competitive side split, right? So I think this venue, I think, was awesome. When they first booked it, I remember I wasn't even sure at first because I was like, I know Pier 76. Actually, a fun fact, it used to be the impound lot for Manhattan. So I had to pick up my car there once in my life. So that wasn't great. So then when they turned into this like park, I've gone for like a run past there before, and I was like, oh, this is interesting, just an open space or whatever. I wondered how they would do like an outdoor venue. I mean, it worked out great, but I do think they're starting to. And I remember hearing, I forget who I was talking to, one of the staff members from HYROX at a previous race. I think it was maybe Chicago or something of that sort. And she was saying like, I think Christian loves like these big, like these awesome looking venues. He loves the aesthetics of these venues, like how that Berlin venue ended up turning out in this one. So like I think he's kind of the one pushing for like what's going to be like the most like photogenic type of venue to kind of get eyes on it, which I'm not sure that's going to be the path forever or if that's just kind of part of the growth plan, but definitely is. I mean, I think that's what they're looking for right now. A lot of these, like, especially, or at least a few landmarks in each country. Like, hey, this is the like maybe U.S. kind of outdoor fun event. Berlin was maybe a Europe one for this year, and then maybe each year they try to do something weird or different that appeals to that.
Yeah, he did say it does give him anxiety though until a couple days before, because you can imagine, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it's like rain is one thing, like, oh, it rained a little in the morning and then it dried out, but like if it's a shit day, which could happen, and like half your racers have a bad experience, like they may never come back, they're gonna ask for refunds, whatever. But all right, Dave, you're up. Now's your chance to air your grievances in a little section we like to call Dave Claxton Hates Everything. Go ahead.
All right. So I think Matt Kemp hit the nail on the head with the HYROX is chasing a lot of optics. A lot of good-looking venues, a lot about the pictures and stuff like that. Whereas I'm more focused and set on the sport. I like to see the sport. I like to see the races. I like fair races. So the first thing when you saw me there and you said, you hate everything. Well, I had walked in and I had seen some of the worst judging I had ever seen anywhere. Like bar none, any event. And I don't know what happened. I don't know why, but immediately I saw it. Went over to watch some wall balls. Nobody, there must have been 12, 15 guys there. Nobody going to depth. Don't blame any of the athletes. They had no idea. All the judges were just like, yep, good. We're all good. Went over to the burpee broad jumps. Saw a guy putting his hands down probably 2 feet in front of his feet. I hollered to the head judge who was right beside him. I'm like, dude, look. He looks down, watches him, looks back, gives me a nod, says, okay. I'm like, I don't know if they don't know. I don't know if they're not prepared or if they're just not willing to do anything. But it was horrible, and it got worse as the day went on. The judging was, like I said, the worst I've seen in any event, any race, anywhere. It was terrible. And I don't know who would be responsible for that. But somebody needs to take ownership because it was bad. I got videos, man, that will just make you cringe.
Yeah, one of the first things I saw, there was a very big guy. New York has a lot of big people. I don't know what it is, but I don't think I've ever seen so many people that I thought might be like either just power lifters or fucking, maybe the equivalent of like G League football, but like some big fucking dudes. And this guy, like, first of all, he humanly probably can't squat. Like his body just won't even do it because he was so big. And so it was basically like, yeah, it was pretty bad. And I didn't even feel bad for him because like he was so massive, and he's probably not breaking any records because he's not moving very fast. But that definitely made me kind of stop my tracks bad. but I didn't kind of go up and down the line like you did and see a bunch of it. But that was definitely one of the first things I saw.
I have a video of a man who they
You
brought.
can share it here. You want to share it? You can share it here.
Dude, you
No,
wanna see
don't
it?
put anybody on the spot like that.
Okay.
Don't-
Blur out his face. Blur out
don't
his face.
do that.
All right.
He's actually facing another
Oh,
direction.
we got
But
over
it's not-
20 viewers. Look at this. Come on.
It's
people
not
wanna see
his
it.
fault anyway. It's the judge's fault.
It's because
So
I sent
anyway.
it to my mom, Matt.
They they brought out the bucket for this man, which I get, right? Maybe you couldn't. And then he was still going
Yeah.
8 inches above the bucket. And they said, okay, good, away you go. And it wasn't an isolated incident. It happened many times.
All right, we'll look at it later. Anthony is like the conscious of the show, and he says we
Yeah.
can't put anybody
So,
on
I mean,
blast.
so there was that, and that like HYROX needs to look at that and say what the hell happened at this event, because I've been to other HYROX events where the judging had been definitely improving and getting better and better and better, and now this just nosedive. I've
Yeah,
never
and the
seen anything
last
like it.
in Anaheim we had a lack of judges, and some of the judging was bad. Here we had plenty of judges, but judging was bad.
Yeah.
I when I ran my own event, I was in the sled pull and I was sitting there and I'm walking back and I noticed I'm close to the line, and then I looked around and I'm like, anybody
Fuck it.
watching me? Anybody care? Nobody.
Right.
Nothing. And I was just so disappointed. If I went to this event as a competitive athlete, like I went to run a fun run with my wife and we had a good run, but if I went as a competitive athlete and I saw what other people were doing, I would lose my shit.
What if you missed Worlds by 28 seconds and you saw it?
Exactly. And here's the thing, Matt, and I'll tell you what I watched.
We've been talking about that. We're like,
I
oh,
watched
my
our good friend.
Hey, it really is Anthony's mom. Look at that.
Yeah.
I told you.
I watched. I got a video again of a good friend Amber Tate. We all know is the box over queen from DECA, doing beautiful wall balls, fantastic. And the girl beside her, very blurred out by the judge, not squatting at all, and just doing like a push press motion to throw the ball and being allowed away with it, and actually passing Amber on the wall balls.
All right, so I have a question for you, Anthony and Dave both, because so I came to the world of like CrossFit really in 2020 when Hunter did his Murph, right? And people were killing poor Matt Kempson about his form, and people were going nuts. And I was like, we were talking about judging, and he says, the job of the athlete is to find the line, right? But like Matt Kempson wasn't even close, right? But like it is your job to find line. So what I would say to my friend Matt Kemp here, who's this close to the record, like, okay, well, you have your own integrity, but when you get to those wall balls, like, just see where you can get. Now, is that the wrong advice to give him? Like, does that make me a bad person or him a bad person? Because Matt Kemp goes to the fucking ground.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because he's doing it right. But should he? Or should he just find the line of his judge? Before you say anything, Matt Kemp, I want to know what Dave and Anthony think.
Anthony, you want to go first?
Look, so there needs to be a lot of like integrity on the athlete's part to actually hit depth and do everything. Now, especially those in the open heat and the pro heat, because as a judge and as a sport where it requires mass participation, they need people to come back. They want people to come back. Like if somebody's just out there going for fun and they have a Dave Claxton on them, no repping the shit out of them so that they're not going to have fun. They're never going to want to come back. Right. Is not affecting results in the end, hopefully. Now, if you are in the competitive heat, I would even say top 20, like top 40 of like possibly top 40 world times that are going to matter for the Elite 15 now that they've extended that far, or that you're going for a pro time, or you're going to end up taking what is going to be a world championship spot in an age group. There needs to be judges for that. Good judges for that. It's the same thing we talked about for DecaFit the other weekend when DecaFit NorCal, when the judges are from the volunteer pool. The judges are not
right. But I'm asking
like,
you the question:
so,
if you're Matt Kemp's coach and he keeps missing worlds by 10 seconds or 6 seconds, and it's probably some people that are cheating like crazy, would you tell him, hey man, ride the line? Like, listen, Brendan's saying it's like the strike zone, right? You take what they can give you. So would you tell Matt Kemp to keep getting his ass to the grass, or would you say, hey man, I try to find the line and see if you can?
You go. It depends on also his anatomy, right? Does he get better stretch reflex out of the bottom versus trying to stop short and go faster? You know, where's your line? Because one of them's going to spike your heart rate, the other one's going to give you a fuller range of motion. Like, so you have to know too what your ability is. But
listen, your wife is the world champ, and she better go ass to grass, right? Like, she better not fuck around. But Matt Kemp, I say you could fuck around a little bit. Fuck around and find out.
Hey, I mean, here's the thing.
Go ahead, Dave.
Matt could shorten his rep range. He could do it. He could finish the race in, a minute faster because he went 4 inches less on every single wall ball, as long as you break the line, right? But are you going to feel good about that, Matt, knowing that you should have gotten 60 no reps?
Do you want to be the guy whose video we're not showing because we're being polite?
Exactly. That's where I say, like,
but that's what I'm saying. There's some gray area there between giving what the judge will give you and just being like ridiculous.
There's a difference between being close and not getting called and being ridiculous and not getting.
There's a difference between getting no rep things like the effort in.
Exactly. Like the commenter said with the strike zone. Is it Angel Hernandez who's your umpire behind the plate, or somebody else? Because
and I want to address the comment.
He finally retired. Let's pour one out for Angel.
Yeah, I want to address a comment here that says, and you can put it up there. Judges come from a volunteer pile unless you're going to donate cash to HYROX, so HYROX can professionally train hundreds of judges. These comments lack perspective. So I'm going to tell you this: I do donate to HYROX. Every time I buy a shirt, every time I sign up, every time I go to an event, I donate to HYROX. That is my donation to HYROX. That is where the money comes from to pay people to do a job properly. Now, yes, you still need a ton of volunteers, but the head judge should know their stuff. And they're the ones that make sure the volunteers do a good job.
And that's what I've always said, is that you're going to get some random people or local people from the Y or whatever, but that's the head judge's job is to train and recalibrate, like whatever you need to do. So Emily here says, I was judging at wall balls. I didn't want to judge wall balls. Can you say why? Can you say more? Is it because you didn't want to no rep people? Is it because you knew too many eyes were on it? I'm just curious what you mean by that.
It's really uncomfortable to be in that spot.
I've judged wall balls, and it's tough. So I'll say the one thing, I'll be honest with you, like, you can tell when people are trying to be competitive, and those are the people like, I want to hold you to the standard. And there's other people who you can tell are barely going to finish this thing, and it's like, hey, they don't get deep enough. I'm like, hey, I gave you that one, but you got to get deeper on the next ones, and like kind of coach.
Yeah, Dave, do you agree with what he said? If there's some woman who's like clearly not that fit, or man like that giant, and he's clearly not going for record, do you believe what Anthony said about let that guy finish? You want to make sure he comes back.
Yeah, you gotta try to ride the line. But the same thing is, at a lot of times when you're in that situation, you never know. You think you're helping the person you're helping, but you might be screwing someone else over, and you might be screwing Matt Kemp over by helping someone else out. Right? Like, there's a lot of the best way to approach it. The best way to approach it is to call it fairly and same across the board. If the person can't get to depth, you bring the bucket, you make them sit on the bucket, you make them stand up, and that's it. Because everybody can sit on a bucket and stand up and throw a ball. And if you can't, well, then you probably shouldn't be there.
I think that the one thing that they could, like, and this is maybe getting too far into it, but I think one thing that they could potentially do is like have a more like quote unquote competitive wave if they wanted to again, or if they do the pro wave, you have, when you get to wall balls, right, there's like 100 rigs for wall balls now because there's so many people finishing at a time. You have 20 or so judges who are quote unquote head judges who, hey, if you're in the competitive wave, you have to go to one of those judges. You go down to the end, you go to those judges, and this way you know those people that you're competing against are going into are in that one wave.
It's like how Spartan does elites in the morning.
Exactly, something like that.
But there's so many people racing, it's hard because there's so many people racing.
Yeah, they run together. They definitely run together. I do think that a very simple thing is that if they had somebody directing traffic, that it displayed what the current racer's time was as they're coming through the tunnel, and they basically direct them, are you going to this side or that side? One side, they're being very strict on what they call. The other side, we're not going to be as strict. We're not going to be as diligent.
Yeah, how about, all right, so I like this. How about, what do you think? Like, 1:45, an hour and 45 minutes and slower, you go to you're clearly a regular person.
I think even at $130, you could they're very reasonably, because you're not going to be taking anybody's spot. You're not going to be, even at an age group level, be pushing anybody off a podium or near it or a qualifier. I think like if you are on if by run 8 you're at an hour and 30 minute, I think like you doesn't mean you don't call them at all, but you aren't as diligent about them as you are
Or
with.
I think you say you call them the same. You just
I think
don't
we
get
just
a
solved
head
the
judge.
problem. I think we just
Okay,
solved the problem. Who said
you
that
have-
first?
Like you have 10 head judges, right, at wall balls, and then you have 50 volunteers, right? You're someone who comes in an hour and flat into that section. You get assigned to a head judge, hopefully, or like, hey, all 10 head judges are taken. All right, you're going to volunteer. Like, it's never going to be perfect. Like, you're not going to have someone waiting around the whole time. But I do think there needs to be a little bit more on the head judge situation, or like you said, someone who knows and will hold the other judges accountable, because it's just I think that's the one thing that we just didn't see enough of, change in some ways, because it doesn't get adjusted enough throughout the day. And if the volunteers, like you said, like Emily's saying, like sometimes you have people who, you get signed up to volunteer, you don't know what you're doing, like, you don't know what you're signing up for. And for some people, like I actually know Emily, I know she does. She works at a gym, like she knows what she's doing. But I think other people, kind of like the judge that we had for our team relay, clearly didn't know what he was doing with wall balls. And,
we'll get there. We'll get there.
And we'll come back to that later. But but there's just, I think it's hard. And I think the one thing I had a note kind of earlier in the day talking about just New York in general is from the event side. I think the one thing you could tell is as the day went on, you can just tell that HYROX as a entity was a little overwhelmed, I think, by the time the day was over. Because like you could see, like I saw one time, like this guy had like 3 water coolers on a cart and he's running through one place trying to get water over here. And like I think they kind of got a little more frantic than they expected. I think they knew it was big numbers. Obviously, they knew how many people they signed up and how many people were going to show up. But it definitely seems like there was they seem, I want to say underprepared. Just I think it all hit them a lot faster than they kind of thought, and it was like, all right, now we just need to get through the day, as opposed to kind of holding the standard.
Yeah, and I have to say that there's probably a really strong likelihood that the heat, didn't just fatigue the athletes; it fatigued the volunteers. I couldn't last super long that day. I had to go back and rest before our race.
All right.
So I do think that happened.
I want to say something just quickly, because somebody said it, Jabari. I don't know if it would have brought up, but thank you, Emily, for volunteering, and that is awesome that you did judge, and that's fantastic. And they need more people like you. And I think in a situation where you didn't want to judge wall balls, you weren't happy to judge balls, you don't want to call no reps on somebody. Well, then that's again where HYROX officials and head judges need to put you in a position where you're going to succeed, where you're going to be the most help, and then put other people who are maybe more comfortable with it, horrible people like myself, in a position to judge wall balls and stuff like that. So yeah, that needs to be squared away. Maybe, and again, I know beggars can't be choosers, and they have to take what they get, and they have to man as many stations as possible, and they need so many volunteers. But there still has to be some accountability. And if we never talk about it, if we never point it out, it never gets better. Right?
Yeah, Emily, I'm curious. My guess is they take the most knowledgeable people and put them on wall balls and burpees, right? And I think wall balls importantly. So I'm curious, Emily, did they say like, hey, who here works at a gym, and then they put you at the wall balls, or do they just randomly put you there? Like I know Matt Kemp, you've just volunteered, right? So like literally walked up and said, you want me to do wall balls? Emily, how did they put you somewhere?
I know Yusuf, who's one of the he's like one of the race directors, and like sometimes like I remember he's at all the races. He's usually overseeing wall balls, but he wasn't at wall balls because he was like running around with a million other things. He's the one who helped like direct the team relay. But there were times where I remember, I think it was in Chicago, where I was like hanging around waiting for you guys last time, and like he was just like, hey, we're short. Can you just like come over and do wall balls? Because he was like, and he knew, because he knows me, he knows I'll do it kind of similar to Dave. Like I own Pirate Kids baseball. I don't mind no repping somebody on a I have to strike a kid out, I can tell someone to do a squat. Yeah. But is it, I think the same thing. It's like sometimes they don't think they generally ask. Because the first time I volunteered, I did like sled pull, and I was like, hey, I was like one of the few people there that day that did the race. It was like me and like some college kids, and they probably could have used me at wall balls over sled pull in that situation.
So Emily just said nope. They just said go do wall balls.
All right.
Yeah. I think that they had so many volunteers there that I don't think they had any time. Like they probably had, at any given moment, like 100 volunteers on site, right? Like they had 40 or so at wall balls, which usually they don't have that many wall balls. They needed it. And I mean, between the other stations, I would say, and water stations and other things, they had a lot of volunteers on site, which I give them credit to getting all those volunteers. So yeah, I'd say definitely not an easy task. But yeah, there still needs to be, I think the biggest thing is, like we always say, like we're familiar with the sport, so we're common to understanding. But I remember the first time I volunteered, I was with a couple of college kids who were like, they played college volleyball, and they were like, "This is insane. We never heard of this event before, but we just need volunteer hours for our local college. This is awesome." Yeah. But to them, it's like so intimidating to go like see someone who, you know, like especially like in a pro race, they're not going to go up and be like, "I'm going to no rep some guy who clearly looks like he knows what he's doing." You know, they don't want to get, they're, you know, going to be more conflict avoidant in a situation they're brand new to. So,
and that's true. Judging is wicked hard. It's not easy. It's very difficult, but you still need to be accountable and put the proper people in the proper positions to do the best job. And I think that came up short this time, and it had been getting better from what I had seen.
So and I don't know if this is for every race or just maybe the World Championships, but in 2022 in Las Vegas, they put out a note to the local gyms there, and I just know this because we knew some of the local gyms. People get paid for specific judges. If you were a judge or you knew how to judge, there were different shifts, especially for the shifts for the elite wave. They'd give them like $100 for like a 4 or 6 hour shift. And that was in Vegas. I don't know if they're doing that only for the World Championships or if that's for every race they make that offer, but
I know in some situations head judges are compensated.
Yeah.
It may be all of them, I'm not sure.
Yeah, that was for I know at least the elite race judges in Las Vegas in 2022. And I mean, even those judges made a mistake when they told Hunter and Kent to go early, right? So,
yeah. Right. Well, Marcus says, cool. I think we can move on. Marcus, you're not the boss of us. All right.
Yeah, but he's
Marcus,
probably
I agree.
He's probably right. He's probably right.
Everybody's here to know about what's about to happen. I feel like, you know, this coming weekend.
You're definitely not the boss of us. You're definitely not the boss of us. Let's move on.
Do you want more? Do you want more stuff?
I literally was about to say, I think we've covered this. Let's move on. But I wanted to let Marcus know that he's not the fucking boss of me.
Yeah.
So somebody mentioned Lance's wall balls, and I think now's a good time to move over to the Lance conversation. I want to say that I thought with them announcing him on the mic more, I honestly thought it would be more people, but I think it was like a lot of people, but it wasn't like I was expecting like the entire HYROX world to like descend upon watching him. But I think most people there to do their race, and if you happen to be around when they saw him walking by, then you watched him. But you know, I think I shot on my phone, there's like 10 or 15 people with their phones up right now, but it wasn't 1,000. You know what I mean? So it was pretty cool. But it wasn't as kind of crazy as I thought. They did like immediately whisk him to the back, which I think they also did with the CrossFitters just to kind of treat them like VIPs. So I don't know if it probably would have been a lot of selfies. If one or two people started taking selfies, I bet a lot of people would have, because that's how that goes with celebs usually. Like, who's that? Okay, cool. I want a picture too. But overall, it wasn't kind of as much as I thought.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they had to balance something here too, which is that, you know, I think that Lance is very genuinely interested in the sport. And I think it would look in poor form if HYROX was over leveraging his likeness before the event kind of thing. Like, I thought, like, had this been some prearranged sponsorship, like, it would have been nice if it was publicly known, hey, Lance is racing starting at a certain time. You could, you know, come. But it seems like this is much more organic, you know, of a thing. So I thought, like, it was good that way. It was cool, though, that there was a pretty large group that was following from station to station to station, kind of like the group of people at the Masters going to each, you know, green.
You know what's funny, Matt, is when you and I were talking just before, and you were actually, Lance was his run time was coming up, so we were just outside the run area, and you went to go look for him. 2 minutes later, he walked right by, and I was just dying. I was just like, yeah, there he goes. I mean, oh man, I'm gonna captain negativity today. Isn't it like a bit of revisionist history? And am I the only one who thinks that it's messed up that like you are taking one of the biggest dopers in the history of sports and celebrating him at a sport that just announced we're going to start drug testing? I'm sorry. I know this is, I love HYROX. I really do. But dude, that's messed up. And it's like, he's one of the biggest cheaters of all time.
So this is
we could say that about everybody who played Major League Baseball for about a 15-year span if we're going to hold them to those same standards, though.
And that's kind of what I think. I think like most Americans, I can't speak for the rest of the world. Most Americans are like, hey, do professional athletes take steroids? Yes. How many? All of them. So they really just kind of think that's how, and especially if they know cycling, they go, well, everybody did. Lance just got caught. If they follow baseball, they go, yup, everybody did. But we clearly know of Barry Bonds because he was a dick and because he had the biggest arms you've ever seen. So I think if this were a few years ago, when not just the cheating, but the throwing people under the bus on top of that, that's what made him sort of even less likable character. Just so you know, from how I didn't even address it in any post I did. I didn't say, yes, he cheated, but we're glad he's here. I didn't do any of that. I was just like, look, the community's going to say stuff about drugs. It's like, I'm just going to talk about him being here, and I'm going to talk about his performance. And obviously we can get into somewhat on here, but yeah, Dave, I just think no one cares because no one cares.
That's sad. It's really sad. Like, and the premise of it's okay that he cheated because everybody cheated. It to me is again sad.
I didn't say it's okay. They just accept
I'm
it.
just saying.
Well, I know you didn't say it was okay, Matt, but you were saying that some people take that opinion, and I'm like, that's just disappointing. Like that would be for us as Canadians to trot Ben Johnson out and let him go at it just because. And then
wouldn't you be excited to see Ben Johnson do a HYROX?
Hell no.
I would love to see it.
A disgrace. And
So
yes,
I look
everybody
at-
else in that race cheated too, but so are they then. Like, but
I don't
he
think
got
it's-
caught. That's the thing. And I just, I can't buy it. You can't. To me, you can't have both. You can't celebrate a guy for cheating and then saying it's bad. It just doesn't make sense to me.
I don't think it's like celebrating it for cheating. I think it's more like the way I look at it kind of is like at some point you got to say like time served, right? Like it's been 20 years, like, and I don't think he's still doing all these same drugs.
Did he ever say he regretted it or would not do it the same way?
Yeah, go watch the Oprah interview.
I thought he said that he would do it the same way again.
I mean, according to that, Dave, he never got caught. Like he
admitted it, didn't he?
He admitted it after the fact.
Mhm.
He never failed a drug test except for like his very first one he ever took. He failed. After that, he never failed a drug test, and then he just went and admitted it on Oprah. That was it, Oprah, or was it a different?
It was Oprah.
The View or whatever. Yeah.
Do we want to drug test the entire over 40 age group and see how many of them are on TRT? Because I just talked to another friend today who we joked about it, and I made a joke, and he was like, wait a minute, you're not taking it yet? Because he's about my age. He's like, it's a fucking lifesaver. How are you not doing it? So it's like, come on, dude. Like,
get on the cheap bandwagon.
I think it's also like I'm like, you'll never know, right? But I'm curious also to the point of like when you are watching like the Icarus documentary and stuff about like, all the doping and stuff, and you see like at some point people are just better athletes than others, and obviously you don't want to get cheated against. So you don't want to. I'm not going to cheat. I don't want to be a cheater. But like you're never going to be able to like. There's always going to be something new. There's always be something that someone's finding the edge on, like whether it's the judges or their drugs or whatever it is. Like people are always going to find a way, and it's a matter of like, do you want to be the person that wins with integrity, or do you want to be the person that wins and doesn't give a shit? And at the end of the day, like someone's going to win and someone's going to lose, and you don't know if that person. You hope they had integrity. I want to believe that as well. But we don't know. Like we're never gonna know, and that's the thing that sucks. Like that's the thing that sucks about all these doping allegations or truths. It's like you're never gonna know if someone did it or not until like 2 weeks after the race if a drug test gets filed and actually gets done. And even then, it's like now it just sucks because now it's just like a black hole.
And that's like look back at when Ricky Garrard tested positive and the CrossFit. Patrick Vellner didn't get his time on the podium. Like everybody you don't remember that. Oh, Patrick Vellner did take another third place because, well, Ricky Garrard was in all the pictures of the podium for that. So
I know.
It really,
and Ricky, they've already stopped talking about Ricky. By the way, like I thought it was going to be a lot rougher, but I think people are like, cool, glad he's back.
I'm not.
Positive test. I think positive, like admitted positive tests like that you can't prove that you were tainted supplements or something should be longer than 4-year bans. And when they come back, they should be tested during that ban too.
Maybe they are.
As far as we've heard, they aren't.
All right.
Do you want to talk about just a sec where Jeff talked about the carpet for a sec?
No, we'll talk about that during the race. That's part of the part of the race chat.
My bad.
I do want to talk about speaking of like announced. So they did that they did that event with the CrossFit athletes. I knew there was a event. There was another PR company that invited me to another thing that I couldn't make it to, but I wish I had known, because I didn't know that Chandler was there until the event was over. And I would have loved to have talked to him. And I would have got interviews for content, but also just to see him because he's a really good guy. I met him when they did when Hunter got those guys to do HYROX. Before that, he got them to do a Spartan thing, and Chandler was always super cool. So I'm surprised those guys didn't announce it more, or we would have heard it. You know what I mean? Like we knew Mal was doing it. We knew all these people, and these guys were like, they did content before, during, and after for Puma, but we didn't know, and I was kind of bummed. I have to get my power cord, so keep chatting.
So I hadn't heard anything about them doing it beforehand. Did you, Anthony?
No, I didn't know any of the Invictus team was. They just won the West Regional, or the West semifinal, like the weekend before, and they flew out there and did it.
Was it pretty last minute that they threw this together?
It had to have been, right? Like, I don't think anybody had an idea that it was happening, and I didn't see anything posted about it until like day of. Like, all of a sudden, I was told, "Oh, Lauren Fisher's doing it." I was like, "What?" And I didn't know Chandler did it until after. Just like Matt said, like, I didn't know he did it.
Yeah, I hadn't heard anything until I actually got to the event. That was the first I knew of anything.
Yeah,
and I mean, like, we're following CrossFit and HYROX,
Mm-hmm.
and still didn't catch wind of it.
I mean, I'm watching. Yeah, Marcus, I want to too. That's he put it at the end of our list. Okay, he said that we can't discuss world champs until the end. But I got one other thing before that. If I could, can I share my screen? I'll just give my information.
I don't know if you can or not. If it gives you permission, you can do it.
Yeah, I think you have to see.
Let's see. Do I have
down there?
Oh, hang on. I think I can. So I'm gonna just
hijack this from Matt.
Damn right.
It's our feed now.
Oh, all right. Well, I think it says I can. So before I go into that, do you guys remember what they called Vienna and what they called DC? This is my own like sleuthing and like things that I've heard and talked about. But I think I found a city that next year's HYROX major will be in.
Okay, let's see.
There's a North American Open Championships, right?
Yep. So Vienna was the HYROX European Open Championship, right? DC was the US Open Championship. And if I can share, I found this. You guys see it?
No.
Oh.
You need to put it on your phone.
I'm sharing.
I'll do it old school style.
Oh, all right. Let's see if I can. Let me see if I can do it on here. Then before Matt gets back.
Okay, before Matt sits down, I want to say to the other two Matts, congrats.
Asian.
Is that
Hong Kong?
Hong Kong. Yeah. I couldn't see the city person.
There we go.
You couldn't wait. You just had to do it.
We got
you went off and did your thing. Anthony was in charge.
We got requests to change the topic, Matt.
Well, you could at least go in order, though. Come on.
I can't see what the next thing is.
No.
All right, let's see.
The
what the next
agenda's
thing
gone.
Anthony did the right thing.
That's because I've never
Literally and figuratively, the agenda is now gone.
There we go. Oh, we're up to Team Clax and Team Matt, so perfect timing to talk about our races. Dave,
do you want to share the screen I was sharing, or?
Yeah, now hold on before we go. Yeah, share Anthony's screen so we can put that up there.
I thought Matt might be interested in this, but we knew the HYROX European Open Championships, the HYROX US Open Championships, and this one, the HYROX Asian Open Championships in Hong Kong 2024. This was posted on HYROX Singapore's story about a day and a half ago. And
you waited 2 days to tell me. I thought you found out like some like secret like from HYROX or something. Like this was live. You could even tell me, you bastard.
Yeah, well, I was trying to. I texted to you, and you keep secrets from me about who's going to show up on the show.
He was
and
giving you a surprise.
I was giving you a surprise, like we talked about last week. I like to be the surpriser, not the surprisee.
All right, so it's on stories.
No, it used to be. It's not anymore. But I have it. I tried to share a screen, but they said they can't see it.
All right. Well,
We're assuming, Davis, you hold the keys to the.
no, I think I can let others share the
Anyway,
screen. Hang on.
I heard the Hong Kong venue might be at the end of November this year.
Can you just send me the picture? Just put it through the private chat, and I'll share it.
There you go.
You want me to text it to you?
No, send it through the private chat. It's right here on my laptop. Fucking mutiny going on here.
Dude, you went away.
Yeah, I
Not a
kept
mutiny,
the
it was
conversation going, and then we had
was
requests. to change the
abandonment.
topic.
I still waiting.
I can't share it in the private chat.
Fuck's sake, Anthony.
I just tried.
Oh boy. So now I'm getting all these other texts. I'm trying to fucking ignore them now.
So what do you think, Anthony? How does Hong Kong play as a major?
Well,
Potential.
did you see? Did you?
Potential.
Well, if we see the graphic says Hong Kong International Airport. So are we looking at a Berlin airport situation?
Let's
That's what I was trying
go!
to say.
Airport!
I was trying to,
Airport!
I was trying to get the graphic up to show this. It says
Oh, I
the
read it.
HYROX Asian Championships, and next to it, the Hong Kong International Airport.
That looked like a sponsor logo, though, I thought, when I saw that.
I didn't. Yeah, was it a sponsor logo or is it at the Hong Kong International
I had to
Airport?
send it from the thing to the thing to the thing.
And so now they're trying to get the view, like.
Oh, there are. I mean, it's a massive airport. Oh.
You know, earlier in the show we were talking about how they were trying to get these scenic venues, and what a better scenic venue than for a major where they're going to have a live stream broadcast of all the top athletes.
But you're not talking outdoors like Berlin was.
It could
Yeah,
be.
it's gonna
If
be out.
on the
It's gonna
same
be
course. If it's on the same course, does it matter? The athletes all race the same course.
Oh, but you got to think of stuff like potential lightning. You got to like stuff that.
So there is what's it called? There is an expo center on the airport grounds.
Yeah, I think they already had it there.
Oh, if there's an expo
Probably-
center on
probably
the
at the
airport
Asia
ground,
World-
Yeah.
Yeah, they have like an expo center at the airport, I think, and I seem
Like,
to
then
remember
that's
that's
cool.
where the last one was.
Then that would be cool, right? I mean, you fly in, it's right there. That's unreal.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be
tons
great.
of
It
great
is what-
hotels.
it is the
like,
same
usually at the
location.
airports. So
As
Yeah.
last year. Yeah, last year was at the Asia World Expo, which is on Airport Expo Boulevard in Hong Kong.
Do you think if I right now I download Duolingo and by the time the race is here I can speak 2 languages? Do you think then HYROX might hire me for the live stream?
No.
You're not going to speak that well.
I think
That's
AI
gonna be a
will do it
tough-
for you.
that's a long flight for a lot of athletes.
I think that's why they're going up to the 40 athletes.
Yeah, they might get a lot of roll down.
Yeah.
See, now I forgot all my other topics.
Yeah. See, it's an exciting topic, Matt.
We did it, guys. We did it.
It's a very exciting topic.
Well, there's
Um,
nothing to be celebrated by saying you got Matt off track. That's not like a big celebration.
That's true. I followed him around for a few weekends. I should know better by now.
I didn't
I
build up the surprise big enough. I should have built it up. I thought he wanted to lead the show with this.
Oh,
Well, because I feel like that's all like after we finally get through New York, then it's like, okay, world champs, other stuff next year. Like I wanted to just kind of cover all New York in one go. That was sort of my thought. And I really want to hear about Dave's race because I saw Dave in the morning, then I never saw him again. And I looked up his results later and that was it. So I wanted to ask Dave how his race went before I brag about a certain race that we happened to win. And a very specific record that will probably never be broken. I'm just going to say, thanks to Lauren Weeks, she gave me the idea. We now have a record that's never going to be broken. So go ahead, Dave. Let's talk about your race first.
all right. I had a great race, great run with my wife as a partner. We had a great time. We did PR by 1 minute, and I will point out some of the good things, like the layout of the rock zone was very good. I liked it. It was very logical. It made sense. The dude in the rock zone spraying people with water. Love that guy. He's fantastic. And yeah, we had a good race. And we'll quickly talk about the carpet. The carpet,
What
I
time did you
found-
go off, by the way.
what's that?
What time of day were you racing?
12:20. So right at the peak of the heat there. It was quite warm. So, but I mean, like I said, you can't blame HYROX for the heat. It's whatever. But the carpet when I went in the test area, I was very surprised actually how easily the sleds moved. And I thought that, I don't know, you guys have actually done more HYROX than I have. I don't know if you felt the same way, but it seemed to go quite well. And
that was not true later in the day.
No, and I saw that on the comment that someone said that the carpet did not hold up throughout, or the turf did not hold up throughout the day. Now, I didn't use it later on, so I can't speak to that. But in the beginning, that was flying. It was absolutely flying. And I know that, I mean, I did, we had really fast sled pull. We had a really fast sled push, and that was great. So the only, like, there were, I mean, there's a couple of things and we talked about the water shortage, so I'm not going to beat a dead horse. They ran out of water. That sucked.
They did?
Well, they just didn't have it ready fast enough. Like, they didn't have cups on the table a lot of the time.
Well, not only that, but I mean, on the running course, they had Red Bull, not water.
Oh, in the rock zone.
We did the relay. When we did the relay in the rock zone, I saw a table with
water.
Water, and what's the other thing they have?
They just weren't restocking it fast enough, is what.
Yeah, they ran out at times. And then, like I said, on the run course, it was Red Bull, not water. And I'm like, I don't want a Red Bull in the middle of my run. I would like water. But yeah, and as far as everything went, our race, we had a great time and we really enjoyed it. Had a lot of fun. I did have to no rep myself once because I didn't get no rep and I deserved it. Other than that, yeah, it was a good time. And we had a PR. We could have done better, but yeah, the heat hit us pretty hard. So was what it is. But great race, good time. I think we came 7th in our age group.
I should have had you push the sleds, Kemp, after our race just so you could tell the difference, because I was very excited to push my sleds, either as quick, if not quicker. And my sled time was literally double. It was like whatever, 240 in DC and 40 and four and change, 440 or something
when I did the sled pull, I was walking backwards and hand over handing at the same time. They were moving that well.
Yeah, I was moving quick. I did the sled push, I think, in 151, which is like 30 seconds faster than I've ever done it before on the foot this morning. And that's 8:50 a.m. is when I went, so it was like early in the day.
So where was your other time lost then? Or was it was still a PR for you or no?
Yeah, like a 2-minute PR, but I think I mostly lost on wall balls. I was actually 28 seconds slower on wall balls than I was last time, and I missed the world spot by 28 seconds. So that's going to eat at me for a while.
Next time use the Endorphin Pro Force. That's the answer.
There you go.
Yeah. I think the pro is honestly when I saw the men's pro, because everybody who I talked to had said these carpets were like super nice, who went earlier in the day. But then I saw the men's pro, and holy cow, things were not moving, and they were dragging and digging those things in on the push. And I have a feeling that's what messed you up, Matt. Was
you had to get really low?
Yeah.
I think it was like spongy from what I could tell. Like it seemed like a very and as something like a sponge gets wet, it's just going to sink in more. It was as opposed to the carpet.
So here's my 3 sled experiences. All right. So 2020, I literally had never seen a sled in my life. I'm just dying. It probably took me, I don't know if we've looked in a while. It was like either 8 minutes or 20 minutes or something insane. Right. Then when we do the relay with Rich, I'm really scared about pushing. I'm like, oh, and he's like, let's go test you out in the warm-up area. And it was like, zhuzh. And I was like, cool. And he's like, okay, what you want to do is push. He said halfway and then stop, but I thought he meant all the way down and then stop. And so I went too hard the very first time, but it still moved.
Yeah.
And it was fine. I'm like, cool. This time I'm going to go half stop, down and back twice. Easy. And I started moving and my shoulders like fell through it. Whereas before I was like, what the fuck is happening? And then I was like, oh, I got to get lower. And I got as low as I could. And I'm still like digging it into the fucking ground. And then like the third time, I finally kind of like, oh, this is what I need to do. And then I never even got it. I think I got it halfway the first time and never even that much since. I was a lot of standing around.
Hey, man.
And I tried to imagine people cheering me on because it was pretty empty. And I remember thinking like, all right, like Scott Longley and his kids usually cheer me on, and they told me to like have them in my head. And so I did. But then I also was like, I'm so glad nobody's watching me because I'm dying. Like, this is like embarrassing because I was out there pretty much by myself. A couple really good pictures. But it took me forever. And I was like, oh, wow, this is a glimpse of the frustration of what the pros must go through with these variances of courses. and how mad they would be that they struggled on the sleds, and then the next week, another guy pushed it, a minute faster, because it was really hard.
Matt, I used HYROX and looked up your Chicago 2020 time. 10:28 is what you did on the sled there.
Right.
And you were number 162 out of 162.
It's perfect.
Let's go.
100%. 100%. Yeah.
Had literally never touched a sled in my life, and the sleds, I think it was the Pro 8, maybe, I don't know, it was bad. Anyway, it was rough. I want to talk about our relay and how fun it was. But first, I want to talk about my new buddy Matt Halfill and what he was doing Friday night prior to our race, or maybe it was Saturday afternoon. How you prepared? How I prepare is, hey, this is going to be fun. What sections are we doing? Okay, cool, let's go. Matt, can you talk about how you prepare for this race?
Yeah, so I prepared for this race. Listen, I had a goal. I wanted us on that podium. I really wanted to be on that podium. And so I did some spying, did some research, who was entered in to race us in the 40-plus men's category. And I was looking at all their prior race history. And when I couldn't find a name, I thought, well, you know what? Let me go to LinkedIn or go to Facebook. Let me try to find out some of these people who have no HYROX history. What have they done before athletically? I need to see what we're up agast here. I did that. Yeah. And then on, let's see, Saturday, I was working up a game plan. I knew approximately what I thought Kemp could do for his run and ski, and then his run and BBJ. And I just went for each person, what could we realistically get for our run and our stations, and put together a plan for us, to try to hit the 64-minute mark, because that was what it would take. At least that's what it would have taken in Anaheim for what we were going after. And I did not account for Rock Zone. That was one oversight of mine. But we did very well, hitting our plan. But it really helped, at least for me. I'm I know I'm not going to let people down. I budgeted 4 minutes. I got to get it, 4 minutes or under on this run. Same with row and same with wall balls, kind of thing. Knowing what I needed to do. So that's how I planned.
Matt Punton just commented he was a little slower than expected, though. So get Halfill.
It was hot, Matt. You did great.
Only a couple seconds. It was really
not much. Yeah. We were both mostly pretty on target. I was pretty surprised by how well you estimated that.
I have a question, because my farmers, which I have been practicing in DC, I put it down 2 or 3 times. I can't even remember. This time I said I'm going to put it down once, and I put it down right at the last turn. I thought, dude, could I go unbroken? And next time I will. But I put it down once. I counted to 5 and I went again. And I said, cool. I definitely beat that by 15 seconds, and I wasn't. So we thought it includes the Rock Zone. Well, okay, because you had to come all the way down to the farmers and then come all the way back to tag your teammate. But I was talking to Emmy about it, because her and her husband both and I did the same stations. And so, of course, I compared us. And I said, I think my Rock Zone was added all this time. And she said, no, the farmers, they definitely time you in and out. Is that true or not?
Your farmer says 202.
And what did I do in DC? It should have been a lot faster, and it wasn't.
How many corners was there in DC? How many switchbacks?
Same.
Was it?
You
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
DC was back and forth. I can't remember the DC course now. One of them was a big L. I thought maybe
DC, you did 206.
Right.
Yeah.
So how is that possible, that putting it down 3 times versus putting it down once, and I was fucking moving, dude. I know I was passing people. Anyway, so I thought it included rocks. It must have, but I guess it doesn't. Or relay does it different?
I'm not sure, because I remember that happening too. I think maybe the last race it didn't, because when we did the DC team relay, I did the row and I was pacing 150-ish or so, the whole row, or below, somewhere below, in the 140s. I think I finished the full row in 340 something. And then when I looked at my station, it was 418. I was it didn't take me a minute or so to run in and out of that zone. I know the zone's it was pretty big in DC, but it wasn't not gonna be a minute to run in and out of it.
But you got and I mean, you said 140 something, and then you were 4 whatever.
And yeah, like my total
About
my
30
time.
seconds off, because I mean, 30 seconds to run in, get strapped in, unstrap, and run out is not that unreal.
Yeah, but I think it was off by more, because I think there's something about it. 'Cause I remember talking to Rich about it, and we were saying maybe it doesn't, for some reason, maybe for the team relay in DC, it wasn't counting the rock zone. Maybe I don't know. I can't remember.
I just can't see them switching how the
Yeah,
chips work just for the relays, right? They're still just, your rock zone time would just be increased for your tags.
Yeah.
I would think. I mean, I wouldn't go to the work to change it in any way. It doesn't seem to make any sense.
Even though you stay in the rock zone during where the race, you go back on the run track.
Yeah, because it changes the out. Like there's no out. So you
Okay.
Where you tag. So I'm not sure if maybe that's why it changes. I don't know.
You're the data guy, Anthony. What do you think?
Did anybody wheel the course? I'm just saying, like, looking at it in New York, you were 11th out of 22 teams, and in DC, you were 13th out of 15 teams. In terms of like where the farmer carry alone finished.
Yes.
So I mean, it depends on where the timer was. Like, without seeing a video and being able to be like, you started there, okay, here's how long. Like, maybe your breaks were shorter in DC. I don't know. I'd have to just
next time, Kemp, be sure to do that. That was a bummer about this layout, was like DC and Anaheim, you could kind of run around and see everybody all the time, and like, so you can like, you don't have to crowd that crowded relay area, which we all did and everybody does. In New York, you basically were just standing around hoping they come back, because there was just no easy way to get around. And again, I'm glad that we had a cool venue and a big turnout, but it kind of sucked that the relay, you were just like, I'll just stand here and wait.
Yeah,
the venue was very small for that amount of people.
Yeah.
Well, it's not just the venue is small. It's just the way the layout is. Like there's no, like, usually there's a big walk around where you at least can kind of walk around, even if you maybe have to get on the course a little bit. But here, there was just,
especially for the team relay, like the corral area for the team relay was like kind of tight. So it was just like we were just packed in there, and it was like if you didn't, once you were next to go, you just had to wait there for those like 8 to 10 minutes till your person came, because if you tried to leave, by the time you might not make it back in time.
Right. And the other times we've done it, one of the teammates that wasn't next could kind of be the lookout, cheer the other person on, first of all, and then come back. Okay, they're out on their last lap. But we beat not only all the over 40 men, but all the over 40 women, or sorry, all the over 40 mixed, and all but one of the over 40 women's. So we were just second overall.
Over 40 women.
What's that?
We beat all the over 40 women.
Sorry, we did beat all the over 40 women. Good job.
There was one mixed team that had beat us by like a minute or two.
Right. So we were almost 1-1-1 in our greater than 40
1-1-2.
Wait, but this is from the guy who says we can't count this world record. We can't count this world.
Well, this is I've been turned. I've been turned.
Yeah.
Lauren Weeks, world champion, wonderful human being, reached out to me and said, "Hey, I know you kind of like don't like to give people." You say that, she goes, but I love congratulating people.
Yeah.
So in that spirit, congratulations on being the fastest team with all guys named Matt in the mixed over 40 relay. So
the fastest team with all guys named Matt, all of HYROX.
No. Just I'm saying for now, over 40 plus. So that's my world record. That may go on my bio. So
I think beyond the world record, regardless of age, like, let's not age group ourselves right now. We, as far as I know, we are the fastest team of Matts.
All right, well, let's lay there. The gauntlet's been laid down.
Yeah,
the gauntlet's been laid down.
When does your training program come out?
I did discuss the hybrid engine about getting a branch of them.
Specifically for relays.
And if you're over 40 and if you're named Matt, you can be part of the my coaching program. So I've been turned, and we have a world record, and I'm very proud of it. And no, listen, all kidding aside, it was a lot of fun. It's great to win. We ran into M. Angel, who we know from Spartan, and I asked her to take our pictures, and she actually caught this great picture that I forgot happened until she sent it, which was as they were announcing our name, we all kind of high-fived each other in this goofy 4 white guys trying to high-five. And I'll just always remember that. It was great. The awards went off at, I think, 10:40. But I was not tired because I was so excited because we won. So I was like, woohoo! And we fucking got pizza till 2 a.m. It was amazing.
That is
Yeah,
impressive, and congratulations, Matt. You figured out something that I figured out a while ago in DECA, and that is the best way to succeed is pick awesome teammates.
That's right.
That's how you get it done.
Be
That's
the
how I
weakest
got
link.
my podiums. That's how you get it.
I mean, listen, I couldn't even do it with Rich Ryan, and he's a champion. But I figured out the right combination of Matt's, and it was really
too
great.
young, Rich.
Yeah.
There you go.
So way to go, us, and we'll see you definitely New York next year, and perhaps other cities that we're hearing rumors of. Let's move in.
Wait.
to
I
the-
got one more thing to say. What if I challenge you to come up to Toronto to compete against my team of over 40-year-olds?
I'm going.
Well, are you gonna? I mean, are you gonna pull ringers? Are you gonna be like, let me get these like CrossFitters that I know? Or are you gonna get like, you know what I mean? Or are you just gonna get 4 friends?
I'm gonna get pals, buddies.
Okay.
I don't have.
They have
I don't have 3
They
other
have
days.
to all be named Dave.
I was just
They
gonna
have
say
to
it
all
needs to
be
be
named
Dave. Yeah.
And-
All
yeah.
That's gonna be hard, but I'll try.
That's a good one.
We'll give you a Dan. You got Dave and Dan. And,
No, you get Dave.
David.
You get Dave. Listen, you
Dave,
can
David.
get.
Mm.
I'll give you. You can even have Batista, right? He's probably pretty
Oh.
strong. You can have him.
You can push the sled.
Can you run?
I doubt it.
And they all have to be
Kind
Canadian.
of big anyway.
That 4 Americans named Matt, fastest.
Hey, I'm Canadian too.
Oh.
You're Canadian? No, you're
You're
not.
like that guy. He's
I'm dual
analytical and
citizen.
Canadian.
You're a dual citizen.
Yes, I'm Canadian as well. I actually reached out to Mo about
cut.
having split flags for all of us dualies. Like right now, I can only show an American flag, or I'd have to declare as a Canadian. I can't have both on my athlete profile. I feel
He
like
needs a slashy.
All right.
Yeah.
well, if the revolution comes, just know that if you're on the north side, you're going down.
We burned that house down once. We'll do it again.
Wait, which house is that?
White House in War of 1812.
Oh, is that what
Back
you guys
when it was in
did?
Philadelphia.
Yeah.
All right. So the news that everybody wants to hear, apparently, is talking about the world champs. We have a contest link out, okay, and I'm going to announce some of the prizes that are currently out for the championship of predictions. You will get 2 bags of coffee of your choice, and that's anywhere in the world. That's not just America. He will ship anywhere in the world. You'll get a patch from the Fitness Racing Podcast. And who else did I ask? More prizes to come. So get on it. I think 30 votes have come in already, which is as many as we had last time. Pick your top 5 men and women. Who you think is going to take it? So
I've already
donate-
submitted, Matt. And I'm
You've
ready
already
to
submitted?
go. Yeah.
We're donating
Okay.
patches for this.
I'm not. UK HXR is the Fitness
I'll
Racing.
donate an OFX patch for that.
OFX podcast done. Cool.
Yeah,
All right. More prizes to come.
Okay. Talk to me after. Maybe we'll have a prize in there. I saw Marcus. He laughed. He had to leave apparently right when we get to the World Championships talks. But I wanted to take this because I was curious. Do you guys ever watch like ESPN's what they do prior to a football Sunday, where they do their bold predictions? Yeah, not the hat one, but
Yeah,
that-
bold predictions. So something that's never happened in a race before, or something that like would be extremely rare. What are your bold predictions for Nice? Just go around and ask everybody.
All right, I'm going to go first. So the first one would be, I think Hunter doesn't win as a bold prediction. Yes, we know he
That's
could
bold.
lose, but that's a bold one. Hunter
That's
doesn't
bold.
win. There, I'm going to
That's
say it. I'm just going to say it. Hunter doesn't win. How about that? That's my first bold one. I'll think of some more.
Okay, well, the Shiz just said he's going to toss in a HYROX World Championship set of cards to anyone. So
Let's go.
I'm going to make sure that my predictions are on point because I want those.
That is awesome. Dude,
Shiz
you're awesome,
cards are
Shiz.
the
We love
bomb.
you. Shout out Shiz Graphics at the Shiz. Go find him.
Bold
I'm guessing
prediction.
you already have some, Anthony, so you'll have to go.
No, I want to hear others. I
I'm
mean,
gonna
I
go
got,
with
I got my own.
what if we go with like a American sweep in either the men's and then an international? Actually, I think probably women's. I mean, would be American sweep.
Well, the American sweep happened in the women's last year.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
But,
It's a
but
prediction,
it
not
wasn't
just bold.
expected. It wasn't expected last year.
Yeah, we were top 4 of 6 last year on the women's side.
Yeah.
Somebody made
We're top 4 or 5.
Houston, Texas made a prediction. Ryan Kent outside the top 5.
Whoa! Ryan Kent hater in the house. Wow. Why the hate? Houston Texans 94. Wow.
All right, I'll go with mine.
All
I'm
right.
gonna say that in the women's race, for the first time ever, 2 women will break the 60-minute mark in the same race.
I like that.
Okay,
And
like it.
both of them are named Lauren.
Oh, even more bold.
One of them is not named Meg.
I said what I said. I just the 60-minute mark has never been broken by more than one person at a time in any women's race.
Okay.
Oh,
I could.
bold.
It's bold, but I could see it happening. It's bold.
What
but
if we
I
had
could see it.
what
I could see
would
it.
be the bold? What would be the tiebreaker if 2 people finish with the same second marker? Because they don't break the waist down.
They
to,
have
like,
it. So HYROX does have it all the way down to like the 100th.
Oh,
of a
do they?
second.
That'd
So they use the timing chip. Like that's how I think Anjay Hardis got in last year. Was she was like 200ths of a second, even though her and another girl had the same time. Daniela Kudo, I think.
Because I never saw that breakout, and I was like, oh, that'd be interesting. I was like, what would be like? How like the event is like? I think wall balls is a tiebreaker for like our prediction contest.
Yeah.
Emily thinks the 4 of 6 is going to happen again. And Todd Sholos, who I met in person, good to see you, Todd. Who I pretended I didn't know to fuck with him because I'm a jerk like that. He has to come from behind after the sleds. It's don't you think it's the opposite? Like Hunter's not going to come from behind,
No, I don't think so either. I think he has to set the lead and hold it.
right?
Really, that's what it's been.
Yeah, Hunter's never won if he's not in the lead after the sled pull.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, Todd. What do you know? You know nothing.
I mean, I think that's what he's saying, though. I think he's saying that if
That's
Hunter wins, he's going to be behind at the sled pull. So for the first time ever, he has to come from behind. I think that's his bold prediction. So I think
All right.
Todd does know what he's saying.
All right, I have an adjacent. Since you kept hijacking my agenda, I'm going to steal yours because I can't wait to say this, and that is plus or minus 0.5 people that get busted of the testing for.
I had another bold prediction, but okay.
I have another bold prediction too.
Well, I
But
want them to come, but I want to ask everybody plus or minus 0.5 people. Will one person get busted, or will no people get busted? Is what you're saying, or more than one person? But I'm saying 0.5 is the over under. Top 3 are tested, men and women, and 2 more from the top 10.
Nope. Nobody will get busted.
Nobody.
Nope.
Is everybody saying 0?
No.
Yeah, I'm going with 0. I want to have.
You want it to be 0? I'm
Yeah,
not asking
yeah.
what you want it to be.
No, I think it will be. I mean, realistically.
So I just had a question on that though. Like looking at it, they say they follow water rules and everything, but there's no like what happens if somebody does test positive. It just says don't do it, right? Like at least CrossFit and other things say like, oh, you get a 4-year ban, or there's if you can prove it was tainted and not purposefully ingested or purposely stuck to you or whatever, then it's a 2-year ban, but otherwise it's 4-year. I didn't see any rules like that for HYROX.
I don't think they have a proactive. I think it's just you're DQ'd. I don't think they made like a
that's
ruling
what my
yet
guess
on
was.
that.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it's just your time's DQ'd from that one.
The things that get me is they, everybody kind of knew if you were going to get tested, this would be when, if it was going to happen at all. So you had time to prepare. Then they announced it a week ahead of time that yes, we are going to do it. And then the other thing that gets me is who is handling the tests, who is administering the tests, and is this a non-biased third party, or is
we
it?
Confirmed it was. We confirmed it was water rules, right?
Yeah,
water rules.
Lance,
But who? Like, is it safe?
Water
for
rules
sport?
are rules. They're not saying who's doing it.
Yeah, but who's doing the testing? That's the
Like
question
what
I have.
company is doing the
Yeah.
testing?
Yeah.
Well, Anthony, you're going to be there, and that's going to be part of your job. You're going to need, like, when you see the testing people, be like, cool, what company are you working for? They're not going to say, we can't tell you.
I'm going to be so dialed into everything else. I don't think I'm going to pay attention to that.
All right. Well, whoever's watching, who else? Cheryl, are you watching still? You're going to have to go ask. All right. Back to your bold predictions. My bold prediction is more than that over 0.5 will be busted. So at least one person. Go ahead.
I think the 2 people that got the roll down spots will not finish 15th place.
Oh, I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Who's that?
Magida and Alina.
Yeah.
How's Magida feeling? Do we know he's back? Is he like?
He says he's feeling pretty good. He's not peak condition, but he's feeling pretty good.
Curious.
My bold prediction: Vivian Tefudo does not come 4th.
Is it even a race then?
I'm just saying.
Did it
Cheryl,
happen?
Cheryl, you're gonna find out you're gonna talk to either HYROX or the people that are testing, and you're gonna ask them who they are, what company is it, and what happens if you get busted. You're gonna ask those questions for us.
And also, Cheryl, you need to be in charge of backing up and witnessing the pee. You have to make sure that that's done properly.
Well, no, that's that part. It
Cheryl
says
is a trooper, and she will make sure this is done right.
okay. I think she will. She's at the Philadelphia airport. I'm guessing you're flying from there to Nice, Cheryl. I'm guessing. All right, Matt Halfield. Do you have any bold predictions?
Yes, they will get the right wall balls on the course.
We forgot to talk about the wall balls.
They will not get that one messed up.
You got to do that story now. You got to tell them what happened.
Okay.
The lighter ball has the gray stripe.
Yes, the gray stripe.
We know that now.
It was dark.
We didn't know
It was
that
nighttime.
before.
Why didn't they just put
Dude,
like
I
a
went and
line
bought-
under
I
the
went and
number like
bought
they
two
do
Tether
everything
balls
else where it's
just for that.
named
Like,
labeled
or
6?
have the 6 and the 9 next to the kg so they're oriented the same way.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's just like logical stuff, you
That's
know?
the same question we were asking. Why the fuck isn't the line the same?
Yes,
Branding.
exactly. So the backstory for those who haven't heard, 30 or something reps into our relay race, after I told the judge multiple times, this is a pro ball. I'm the one throwing it. I know it's a pro ball. Then Matt, you got the head judge to figure this thing out for us.
Another judge nearby. Like, we want to know which one is which because nobody could tell us.
Yeah.
Or they were putting away the pro weights next to us. So I was like, these are 9s. And then I looked at it and I was like, oh, it does look exactly like the 6. So I don't know. And then they were collecting all the 9s and putting them into they were cleaning up for the night because all the men's pro were done. And then the one guy goes, I was like, how do you know they're 9s? He goes, they're all black. He goes, the ones with the gray stripe are 6. And then we looked at him, we looked at Halfill, and we're like, well, he's got a 9.
Yes.
So Matt Halfill was not happy.
No, and I was told that I was not very nice to the judge afterwards, but whatever. I was struggling through those things, knowing I'm throwing up the wrong ball the whole time, but whatever.
Yeah.
Glad I got to finish off with the gray one.
But I'm trying to think of other bold predictions. I don't know. I wish I had something more exciting.
I mean, if you just say like a prediction, it could be something that's never happened before, and so it could
All
be
right,
a bold prediction.
All right, if you take a quick glance here, right, and this is what you're looking at on the ground, like looking at this, you can't tell. Now, if you tilt it, you look right, that's the ground, so you can tell it's a 9, but you literally can't tell with a 9 and a 6. I put them in my stories and I turned them both around and no one could fucking tell. And this is what you're looking at on the ground. You have to roll it over to see the difference. And this kid just didn't know. And we were like, because the only thing next to it was a 4. And we were like, dude, we're pretty sure those are wrong. He's like, no, this is what we have. So, yeah, make sure you
See
get the
how
right
it says
ball.
HYROX on it, and it's the right way. If you turn it that way, it says 9.
Yeah, and if you got like 9 and then kg as opposed to kg and then 6.
Yeah.
However, it's still daft.
No.
Yeah, but if it's tipped the other direction, I mean, if you don't orient off of the HYROX,
That's the
then
6.
you wouldn't necessarily know.
Yeah, so
right.
that's
It's very easy to see like this, but when they're turned, like my story was, I'm trying to find my story picture.
But this
that
one
I
also
did.
doesn't have the gray stripe on it. Like the middle.
Right.
The gray stripe is between the centers on the side.
Oh, I
Right,
thought it
but
was
you-
with the
Yeah,
stitching
on
there.
the opposite side of where the numbers are.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it definitely is not easy. When I pushed that story, people were like, you're fucking exactly right. So
yeah, this is just a little bit over engineered and could have been very simply put as if you just made the kg the same direction as the number.
Or just
Yeah,
make
I
it
just-
10 kgs. Just do 4, 6, 10.
I just don't understand why they don't do the line. Like, again, that's what everybody does universally is a line under where it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
I also, as a screeching eagle, why don't we have the poundage put on there? Like, let's have some freedom units on these balls.
Now he's trying to shake the Canadian thing and again go full American.
All right. Thanks, Cheryl, by the way. No, I've lost my the fact that we can't fit the little agenda thing, I'm very disappointed in. I have a long story about my travel and my travel problems, but I'll save those for next time.
Plus or minus. Here we go. Plus or minus. So 10 out of the 30 athletes in the Elite 15 at Worlds are American. They all got USA flags. 10 out of the 30. So on the podiums, 3 men, 3 women, more or less than 4 will be American. 3.5. We'll leave it at 3.5.
Well, first of all, does Camilla have a USA or Italy? Because she said
She
she's
has Italy.
She's
Okay, good. Are there any other like shady ones?
Lyle.
What's that?
Lyle's Spain.
Lyle, Spain.
Okay, so he's not American either, even though he lives here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, good.
Right. So
Wait a minute,
you
hang
say
on a
you're-
second.
You're putting
Hang
it
on a
3.5?
3.5. Over
going
or
over.
under 3.5?
Over.
I'm going over.
Over.
A little favoritism.
Taking over.
I should have said 4.5 because you guys are all
Ooh.
you're assuming you're gonna have 3. So there, who's that fourth one gonna be?
What's the question?
How many Americans will be on the podium?
How many Americans are gonna be on the podium?
Yeah, at least half for sure. We know that. We know it's going to
Oh,
be 3,
sure.
don't we?
That's why I said
3 or
over
4.
or under though, 3.5. Is it gonna be 3?
Emily says over. Emily also earlier said Hunter is going to be post for steroids. So we have some
Emily.
Kent hate. We have some Hunter hate. Houston,
no
you never
hate.
said why you don't like Ryan. Listen, the bigger question is, if people do pop, like, is that not good for HYROX? Is it good because it's like, yay, they're testing, or B, will they feel really bad if it's, say, Hunter or somebody else that they think that is like highly propped up a lot?
So here's the thing. If the question becomes, that's why I was asking about like which company's testing them, because if it's a WADA test, WADA releases the results on their website, whether or not the company or the sport behind it releases those results. So you could search for them on WADA and find if there was a positive test or not. But on
if the whole
HYROX can control those tests and release it if they want to. Like, so there's that question, because I think they have the same stipulation that that CrossFit had, and that's why CrossFit got the whole thing is like, apparently somebody early on in the days of CrossFit had tested positive, and CrossFit didn't release it because it would have affected that person's job in the military or something. So they didn't release that, but they like banned the person from that point. So the question becomes, well, are they going to release it, or what are they going to do?
Well, listen, if the whole point of this is like, here's how we're going to have a clean sport, is like, the important word is transparency. So if I'm running the company, I say, cool, we're going to do the top 3 and 2 random, right? So the day of, we go, okay, the random is 7 and 9 or whatever they pick. That happened to be these 3, and here's 7 and here's 9. Here's their test result. Of course, that's what it should be. But like in OCRWC, we only knew that Ryan failed the test. I can't think of his last name. Woods failed because they told us. They didn't tell us who the other ones were. They didn't say it was 1st, 2nd, and 5th. But shouldn't you just say all the positives and all the negatives?
I mean, you can, yeah, but
shouldn't you? If the whole point is to be transparent,
honestly, like, here's the question: what? I don't get the random 2. Shouldn't it just be 1 through 5? Because if it's 1 through 5,
because then you could purposely finish 6th.
Yeah, but then there's the podium finish. I get that, but then there's the podium finishers. What if somebody who's on the podium tests positive, and 4th place was never tested?
Yeah, that's
well, they can't afford to do the whole top 10. I'm fine with.
I know that.
Fine with half. I'm fine with 5 and 5.
Yeah, the 5. That's great.
And it shows people you better not fuck around next time. So if they just say we're not releasing the data, but everybody's clean, cool, then it's just as bad as not having one.
I like having the randoms. I think the randoms are great because I mean, if let's say you're in the top 15, but you realistically don't think you're a podium threat, but you may hit a top 10 or whatever the case may be, then you're not worried about it. But with the randoms in, you can be anybody. Exactly. So I like the random tests.
Yeah, I do think that if you are, I mean, it sucks because you, like you said, in the position of somebody who finishes 4, like if you're dirty and you know that, you could just make sure you're placing in at 4 and hope that someone else gets taken out, and boom, you're on the podium.
Yeah,
and you weren't tested. So that is a good point.
Yeah, people said that in Smart when they did a random test. People were like, "Oh, they finished 5th intentionally," and it's like, it's pretty hard to finish 5th intentionally, but okay.
That's it. I mean, it's hard to finish a race where like intentionally in a spot.
Yeah.
Unless like, yeah.
This is a big like they don't. They're not, I think they don't externally release the random 2 numbers until I'm guessing like right after.
I'm sure it'll be finish line,
sealed envelope type of thing. Like
I'm hoping
2 numbers in it.
I'm hoping they don't take them back. Like, I hope they let them stay on the floor and finish everybody out like they normally do, where everybody can be there and cheer their other people on and everything.
Yeah. It's not gonna be
I get like they can't leave the area, but hopefully, like as long as they stay on the competition floor, they're okay.
Well, somebody has to stand next to them. So if someone stands next to, say, Lauren Weeks, and she's like, I want to watch these people finish, they'll be like, cool, we have to stay with you.
Yeah, I mean that's what it says. Is like they have to stay with the person. And so does that mean that as long as they don't move anywhere, like I don't know,
They should
probably get clarification on it.
Well,
later,
they should. You should. If you're listening to this, you should definitely ask, because if you just take off because you're excited to watch your friend finish, they might think you're trying to avoid the fucking test. So find out ahead of time, guys, when you have your big meeting on Friday or Thursday.
It says like in their email or their thing, I think you posted it, that if they separate from the person that's supposed to be watching them, or if they lose contact with them, or around a corner without them, or like they lose contact, it's an automatic negative test. Yeah,
right. So don't do that. Don't lose
contact with the tester,
because we've seen people do that. They go and root on their pals after they catch their breath.
Yep.
So are we going to predict? Are we going to all predict our top 5? Is that where it's going to happen right now? Is that going to be the final thing we do?
Ooh.
Well, before we do that, did you guys download the HYROX World Championship app?
I did.
I downloaded it. I was going through it. It's going to be pretty useful. It's you can see which day it is. It's got the tracking, so you can track your favorite athletes. You can take a selfie with like special HYROX filters on it.
Cool.
It has all the info you need about the World Championships on here and like their different media. If you go to the
time zone changes.
If you go to the tracking or the leaderboard, it also has the live stream links that you can just click on. And it says like what time, and I think it's like YouTube where it says what time in your time zone that it's going to be displayed at. It has the schedule of events on there, everything. So it's pretty useful. I hope they're doing this for like World Championships, like show everybody, and then it's at every event next year because it's super neat. Like
when I type in HYROX app, the first thing that comes up is levels.
No.
Type in HYROX Nice 24.
I know it's not, but I'm saying the point is like this says we're proud to be official HYROX training partners, and this is what I was talking about, the confusion with the HYROX 365, because they announced this last year sometime, like November, not that long ago, and then it just kind of magically went away. So it's like, I don't think you're the training partner anymore, Levels.
It has the like live leaderboard too during the race, so like you don't have to be up on our website. Hopefully it doesn't crash like while everybody's at World Championships, but HYROX WC24 is the app, and it's pretty neat. It's got a countdown at the top until World Championships, so pretty cool. I think I'm gonna use it. I'll give you a review of it after Worlds, because I'll be using it for the whole weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Which I'll be in Nice still next Sunday, Matt. Or next Monday. So I don't know if I'll be on this.
You're not even invited.
It'll be 12:30 a.m. for you. Just jump on.
3:30. So it'd be 11:30 at night there.
Oh yeah.
That's not even late.
12:30 a.m.
It's not even late, dude. I was up having pizza.
I usually stay up until like 1 or 2 a.m. anyway, but all right, but before let's do all our picks, and then the country's relay race. Do we want to go over that? That's going to be on Sunday night.
I'm excited for that, actually. You think they'll beat our
I think it's going to steal the show.
What?
I think it's going to steal the show.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be really cool. I listened to OFX and Maria Fetchik on it. Listened to the Hogans on UKHXR. Listened to a couple other teams. Obviously, I coached.
I'm already a finisher from Nice. Look at me.
There you go. you wait to see our boy Cole Learn throw down. That guy is fast.
But it's going to be a good race. I think all the guys are going to be really fast. It's going to come down to who has the women.
What do you think is like a good time estimate for the team relay? Do you think someone's gonna break like, I don't know, 50?
Well, I mean, I don't know.
do. Yeah.
I've done
think
so. I
so.
have like an optimization thing on my Excel sheets that I can do, and so I've put in past times of obviously the American athletes and the some of the other teams that have said who their teams are going to be that I have times for or guesses like what it's going to be. I think low to mid 48s is what the Americans can do.
It'd be wild to watch that.
Yeah.
Are we,
I
are
think-
we
I think
skipping
50
right
gets
past our? Are we going past our predictions and going to team?
No,
What
you
happened?
said that was going to be last.
It
You're
is
waiting
last.
for you
We're
to
at
ring
the
lead
end.
this thing.
We're at the end. We are at the end. I'm trying to find my.
Just trying to get to the country relays. I think it's going to be awesome. I did an optimization of like their team too and what they could possibly run. But I heard on OFX podcast, Dave, that Maria said that they had to send in their order of how they're going to race already.
Yeah, and
They
that
had
I
to
can.
email it in.
Yeah,
Oh, it wasn't shared.
that
on
makes
our
no
end.
that makes no sense.
Yeah, like why wouldn't you want to change? Because what happens if you have a substitution or something?
I don't know. Like I said, and then at the same time, they're after we talked a lot, they're like, "Ooh, we're gonna research again and see." So I didn't know, and we were talking about it. Like, so the only thing I could assume is so that maybe they have lanes for each team, and then they have to have the weights set up for each team when they get there.
That could be, yeah, maybe.
You
I
know?
mean, but then it wouldn't have had to be submitted already. Couldn't they submit it like day of?
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's just what I was going on. But and like, is it a grid style or is it wide open? Like, so if it is grid, it makes sense that they would want to know the
Did
order.
you
so that they
see?
could
Did you
set
see
them
how
up.
the World Championships layout is? It's not grid.
But we need the grid for good streaming, Anthony.
Did you? Well, did you see how it is? Like,
Actually, I haven't had a
it's-
chance to examine it yet.
It's machines. So skierg and rower are on one station, and
Mhm.
then the next one down is like the sled. So you got the sled push and the sled pull, and then you have this like 20-meter thing where you do burpees and lunges, and then you have like 100-meter where you have to run it twice, and that's the farmer carry, and then you get the wall balls over here. So you're going like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like.
True HYROX fashion.
Wait, so there's no grid for Friday night?
Yeah, so it's set up a little different. I don't have a picture of it right now, but the grid, the style is there's like basically
Isn't it
5
on the
different
app?
areas.
Isn't it on the app?
I don't know. I didn't look at the app for the.
I just
Or-
thought that they were gonna put the sled push and sled pull and make that the grid like they normally
So the
do.
sled push and the sled pull are in the same area.
Yeah.
The skierg and the rower are in the same area. So like you run around, right? The
Yeah, yeah.
skierg and rower are there. There's an in arch over here.
Mhm.
Skierg and rower, and then the sleds are both in the same area. But then like there's a 20-meter section. That 20-meter section that's not where the sleds are. That's where you do burpees and lunges.
Oh,
And then like there's a 100-meter section, and that's where you do your farmer carry. And then you go back to the lunges, and then you'd like and then over on the other side is the Thunderdome, which is
Yeah,
where the wall balls are.
what does it say? What is it? Oh, I was like, what is I saw that on the map and I was like, what the hell is a Thunderdome? I thought that was just like the starting tent or whatever.
Yeah,
Or
it's
like
the stands
How do you
for the
not
wall
know?
ball.
That's the Thunderdome. You hear Coach saying it the whole time.
They
Come
have-
on, everybody! They're coming down to the Thunderdome.
They have the grandstands around like one of the outsides,
Yeah.
so you can see the running and like but it's away from where the start line is, and it's
So there's a
on the other
mezzanine
side
too,
of the
right? So
Thunderdome.
it's like,
There's a second level, like a mezzanine level.
Here's
That's where the
here's
warm-up area is.
breaking news. Maybe Anthony broke this. Athletes get to choose their walkout music for when they get announced.
Oh, I knew that one. Yep.
Yeah, that's a hard thing you got to come up with. Nobody.
I gave you a great suggestion.
Yeah.
What did you say, Dave?
Bitch better have my money.
that'd be a good Spartan walkout.
Yeah, I know. Right?
So. All right, what do you guys think is going to happen in the elite race?
I
All
want
right,
Emily Waldman to tell me what her walkout song would be because she's commented so much today, and also the shiz if you're still watching.
All right.
So are we gonna do predictions on the men and women, or we're still talking about the teams?
Let's go for it. Go for it. You're running
Right,
the
so-
show.
I quickly looked at the predictions. The Benz is all over the place. Nobody has not picked Lauren or Meg to be the winner of the women. which is what happened. I haven't thought about this enough yet to vote, so I'm going to let anybody else go first.
Didn't you set up a contest and you never thought about it?
Not that I've never thought about it. That would be a misnomer. I haven't thought about who I'm putting him in my top 5. I can tell you that I think Lauren. I would put Lauren, Meg 1, 2. I can tell you that. That's about it. That's as much. Everything else I need to really spend some time with.
I'll go with the women. I'll do the women first. Lauren, Meg, Vivian, Linda, and that 5th one's tough. I don't know. Michaela.
Over Camilla.
Hey, dude, I was
Over
on
Lauren
spot.
Griffith.
I put Camilla in the top 5 for sure.
I was high on Americans. I had to put in a European just to fill the quota. Otherwise, I'd look biased.
You're Canadian.
I know Maria's going to win. I said that.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, no, I didn't. But but I'm rooting for her too. Go, Maria! Eye of the Tiger.
Shiz, we need your walkout song for HYROX.
All right, Anthony, who you got for the women?
I mean,
You can pick your first one. You can do the rest. So you got Lauren.
Emily just said Michaela's not doing it.
Oh, is Michaela out?
what? When did that happen?
I don't know. Emily seems to know everything. Emily, are you
All
with
right, Lauren
Michaela right
Griffith.
now?
Is that breaking? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
She's your friend, Matt Kemp. You know her.
Emily, I'm not Michaela. I don't know what Michaela's doing.
All right, message Emily. Find out.
All right.
Okay. Clearly,
Okay.
Emily is breaking news on here because we don't know this.
She doesn't have it on her
struggled with
stories.
Oh no, but I thought it was still questionable because I mean, they haven't
Rebecca
announced the
Mason's
replacement.
out. So
Who else is out? There,
what's that?
you said someone else is out.
No, Rebecca Mason is out.
Oh yeah.
I saw a comment earlier that said no chance that the American relay team goes sub 50. Just want to say right now, if you look up all-time scores for mixed relay, there's 2 teams that have gone under 50 already.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're going to go faster than the world record times. So, okay, back to the predictions. I'm going to say for the men that James Kelly wins. And Hunter and Ronkovic are on there as well. Now that's going to get us canceled on YouTube. I'm not sure. Like, didn't you learn your lesson at HYROX that
No.
how we
He's
get
playing a
taken down?
YouTube link.
I don't have 1,000 followers yet on here, so I can't monetize anyway. But
Oh, okay.
good call, Shiz.
Yeah, I'd say I think James Kelly, Hunter.
Did you really just pick James Kelly because he's your
Absolutely.
guy? Oh my
In
God!
fairness, there is some
100%
legitimacy
coach's
to that.
bias
There's
on here. Did you
legitimacy.
not? Like 100% coach's bias.
There's some legitimacy.
Did you hear my top 5? Like, what did I say? The women were going to be Lauren and what was it, like Linda and Meg and Kate Davey. Boom.
All right, Alina, you're incorrect. Alina got Becca Mason's spot. You are incorrect, Emily. So Michaela's still in.
Yeah.
I thought she knew something, but she does not. I will bet you. How much can we bet that James does not win world championships? And I'm a James fan.
Do you want to give me odds?
What happened to you think he's going to win it?
I do.
What kind of odds should I give a guy that is so confident? Like 3-1?
Sounds fair.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I guess it depends what we're betting, right? Like if it's
Your
$5,
flag.
if it's $5, I'll give you 5-1. If it's $1,000,
Your flag versus 3 of Lauren's flags.
What's that?
That's a pretty
Matt's
good bet.
flag versus 3 of Lauren's flags.
This is pretty valuable to me. So,
But it would go the other way around. 3-1 on his end.
Oh yeah, that's right. He's got to get you 3 flags. So you need 3 of the Matt's flags.
And I can't bet somebody else's stuff. I have my own flag from Chicago.
There you
I
go.
got that one. It's not a number 1, it's a number 3. So you'd go from 1 to 3. I mean,
All right, so listen. Let's talk about this, okay? You have data, you have facts, you know a lot about the sport, okay? I want you to make your case for James Kelly. Overall, because it's not just Hunter he's got to beat now.
oh, I know.
So
I
just
know.
honestly, I really do want to hear your case.
No, I mean, look, it's going to be a hard race. Hunter's an extremely fit athlete, very good, right? Everybody knows like he's going to be the guy to beat. It's not going to be an easy, hard race. I do think if Rylan had stayed in the race and the race had gone with Rylan in it, it would have been a little better for like the rest of the field, because I think they would have could have broken Hunter a little bit with somebody pushing him like that early on. But you still have Sandy in there. Sandy's somebody that's going to push that pace early on, and Hunter will stay up with them. And I mean, I'm not like
Ronco. Where's Ronco going to be?
I have Ronco in 3rd.
But where's he going to be when James and Hunter are battling it out? Like,
I'm not going to like go through the whole thing I go through with James with you, because that's his thing.
Okay.
But
without giving the secret sauce, that's
I
didn't want you to give us away the secret sauce.
Very confident. I told James like my confidence in him, but it's at the same time, it's just him running, like he runs his race, right? He needs to just find that line, and he's gotten very, very in tune with where his ability to push is. So
listen, so Emily brought up, we all know this is Sandy's mental issue. What if though? What if this is like all the bullshit? Sandy finally fucking puts it together and like shows like, dude, I finally did it. You guys all fucking doubted me, and I finally got my head right, and I went to a special place. And I mean, that would be a great story for him. I don't think that's going to happen necessarily, but it would be a great story for him.
I mean, Sandy's gotten caught at the farmer carry, the lunges, like that's where he's gotten caught before. Wall balls, obviously. So
wall balls.
He's got a bit to make up, like pushing that, because he comes out really hot. He runs a really hard race. And I mean, there's something to be said for somebody that like, okay, I'm just going to run as hard as I can to this point. Okay, next time I'm going to go a little bit further. Is he to the point now, like he did that doubles with Hunter? Is Sandy at that point where he's like, oh, this is what it takes to win this. I felt it. This is what it takes to go that fast. Maybe now he's like, this is what it's going to take to actually get to the finish line at that pace he wants to get there.
If Doha hadn't happened, I might have thought that was true.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, I like Sandy as a person. He's a great guy, but I mean, I would never bet money on him.
Never, he says.
Wow. I like the way Sandy races, just hard the whole time.
Oh yeah,
and push everybody. Like I don't know. I think that really, you have to be mind of steel to not. What are you doing?
I think I might just fucking pick Dylan. That's what I might do.
Do it.
I would fucking love it for Dylan. I might pick Dylan. Even if I don't really I know he can top 5. I'm not sure he can win, but it's more fun to pick Dylan. I'm just gonna pick Dylan, I think.
I got him in my 5 spot. I like Dylan too. I think I feel like he's gonna he's gonna go out there to try to win. Like, and I think it'll be great to see him and Hunter have like I think Dylan has enough of like he can kind of dish it too. So it'd be fun to see how it would go. As far as just like a little bit, I know Hunter always tries to get in people's head, and I feel like Dylan would be like, I don't give a shit. And like I'm gonna and like he kind of dish it back a little bit too. So I think it'll be like, and he does it like a bit more of a fun way. So I think I think the crowd would end up being on his side if it was close coming to the end there.
Dylan has redemption too. He was very disappointed last year, and he is very focused to make up for it.
What do you think Dylan's finish line speech would be if he won?
Entertaining.
It would be amazing.
It'd be so great.
Yeah, he used to get a microphone in front of him as soon as possible. Like,
right away.
He just like goes like he's never like falls on the ground like I can't breathe. He's just like he gets more energy as if he wins.
Yeah,
he's ready to run another 3 in a row.
Words right after.
Yeah,
I'm getting pretty confident in these picks.
You know, the first time I saw Dylan. I don't know if it was his first HYROX or one of the first ones he did in New York, and he ran like doubles in the morning, and then he won the men's pro at night. And at that point, I was like, "What the hell is this guy can win these 2 races?" And I feel like he did. I think someone told me he basically did like most of the stations too in the doubles. I forget what the reasoning was. There was something like happened with his teammate, and he ended up just like, but they still ran like a sub hour.
Jump around in somersault.
Oh, I just thought of the other prize that I thought of earlier. I know I thought of something that I hadn't announced. You will appear on this show if you win the contest. You will appear on the show next Monday. So if you live in a foreign country, stay up late and be with us. That's the kind of love we give out here. I'll think of some other prizes later.
There we go.
All right, so make sure you do your picks. Let's talk about the women.
Well, I said my women's picks.
Matt Kemp, have you made your women's picks?
I haven't made any picks yet. I was looking at the drop downs earlier and trying to make a decision. I don't know how to pick between Lauren and Meg. I feel like that's obviously everyone's struggle, especially with Anthony staring at me. But just in general,
he's very intimidating.
But like, I don't know. I kind of want to throw a wild card in there just to see like what could happen. But I'm just trying to think like who would. And it's funny. I did like a quick pick as we were talking a few minutes ago, and like I feel like Vivian's gonna be in 4th. Doesn't feel like it's gonna. I want her to be in 3rd, but I feel like I have Camila in 3rd and Michaela in 5th. So Meg and Lauren are up in the top 2. I haven't filled out which ones yet, and then Camila, Vivian, Michaela. So I feel like that's kind of where I don't know. I was not very confident in these picks for some reason.
I feel like any of you guys have picked Lauren Griffith in there. That's interesting.
I have Lauren Griffith. I think I'm going to put her 3rd.
Yeah, I don't know enough about her, unfortunately. Like I feel like I haven't personally watched her as much as I've seen some of the other athletes.
I'm looking at what I'm picking now. So far, I've got Lauren, Meg, Lauren, Alina, and then either Camilla or Michaela. Where's the form?
Sleep on Vivian.
Where's the form? Oh, I forgot.
Yeah, there's going to be. I mean, how do you pick like the women through top 8? Top 9. Like it's hard.
You can pick just about anyone, and it's not going to sound like a dumb pick because there's a good potential of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. And so, in a way, it's very hard to be exact, but it's also very easy to be logical.
Well, we just saw Camilla put up a great time, and do a very dominant race in Anaheim. Like it's hard, and you saw Amy Bellavacqua come back after making a mistake, and
that would be a bold prediction. Get her in the top 5.
It is so hard to make these picks.
Yeah, I think the women's one is going to be more fun, more enjoyable on like you said 3 through 8 because it could be anybody in any order too.
I don't know. The men's is the same. It's a jumbled mess. You can make a lot of crazy predictions that could happen. I mean,
Sandy, I will also bet you and give you similar odds. Solo nomad, but
solo nomad.
So
there you go.
I like Solana Mad better.
I like it too.
Yeah.
I feel like we should do this again, like Thursday. I feel like, you know what I mean? It's like talking about the Super Bowl a week before. It's like we still have so many more days.
Yeah.
I think we should all submit our picks and then declare them, and then we can really and declare them publicly, and then we can see who did best.
Matt Davis will never do that. He likes to change it the day of. He likes to announce it and then change it the day of.
Listen, Jack Bauer and we always message each other back and forth to make sure that like at least one other person knows it. Cause I don't know. And by the way, it's always wrong. When you do that last minute change, it's the one that you had that you should have fucking kept. But no, I'll absolutely announce it. I'll post mine on Instagram for the whole world to see. Here's a bold prediction. If Lauren podiums, Lauren wins, the hybrid engine is going to the moon. That's what I said to him. I said, you'll be turning away. The Brinks truck is just going to back up to your house. How can I be with you with all the champions?
I have like tunnel vision. I have coach's block, whatever you want to say, just complete utter faith in the people I coach. And so between Lauren and Kate and JK. I see them all. There's 4 podiums. Like that's all I see. So
Did you predict this
they're not
podium,
going
by
to
the
be
way?
great. They're my very skewed bias is apparent.
As it should be. No good coach predicts somebody else to win.
Never.
All right, chill. I'm sorry, I got to be rolling here. I have got to be walking home.
You're at your 2-hour mark anyway.
Have a good one.
Oh, there it goes.
Well, I wanted to share something here that I meant to share earlier. Where'd it go? Gosh darn it. I'm so bad at this. Hang on.
You've gone a little quiet, Matt.
Can you hear me?
Oh,
yeah, there you go.
Booming.
Yeah, but I mean, everybody looking at the men's race is going to say Hunter, right? Like, how do you say anything but that from somebody that's won 3 world championships? But it does seem like there is, I don't know, cracks in the armor. The field is closer, whatever it is. It just seems like, hey, maybe this might be the year. But you can say that every single year, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like so first of all, I want you to know that we took several pictures with me holding the banner up, and then I dropped it and said, get one with the hybrid engine so you could see how much I still rep you at these events, buddy. That's how much love I got for you. All right. Just want you to know.
You're not going to be in Nice. I'd bring you another shirt.
You
All right,
couldn't
okay.
figure out to hold the flag a little lower and you could have got both in the picture?
Well, because I was pointing to it because I'm so excited.
I have another bold prediction. Are they going to have a karaoke session during the nation?
In France, what are they going to sing? I heard
Celine Dion.
What song will they sing?
I heard the Rock Zone podcast speculate they're going to say "Voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir?" That song instead of Wonderwall. I don't know what that song is called.
Moulin Rouge, isn't that it?
Moulin Rouge.
Maybe I don't know.
Are they going to sing that song? There's a place in France where the.
Oh.
Well, what you said is like the champ is the champ, right? Until they're beaten. You could say the same about Lauren and Hunter, right? And the thing with Hunter is like, it's like you said, it's kind of like every year is like, oh, the Patriots are done, Brady's done, and then he would come back and do it again. So that's what we're gonna keep saying about Hunter until he does it. But we do think this is the most, this is one of the best shots people have.
It's the closest the field has been.
Yeah.
The deepest it's been for a while.
There's no doubt he's the favorite.
It depends too, because I think I've said it on here before that as far as the men race goes, there can be men that podium because they're not racing for first. Like if you're going in the men's race, like if they're going for first, it might be a make or break. Like I'm going all or nothing, or they can play it safe and end up going, I'm going to make sure I get second or make sure I get third. And you do that by not attacking. I
think there are men in that field that are like, fuck second. And then there's men in that field that are probably like, I'm thrilled with the podium. Yeah. So, and that's as that usually is the case, right? I mean, the sport just isn't that top end yet. Right. But actually any sport is like that. Even people go to the games, right? Of the 20 that go to the games, do they all have a shot at the podium? Probably not. So, but there's a few that are like, I'm here to win it. So, Brendan says Kesha.
And I know, by the way, about songs, I think Vivian wants everybody for the 10 seconds that she's playing We Will Rock You in the stadium to do.
I was looking for the money.
But,
so second place gets you $14,000. That's not a bad day at the office. Third is 8,500. I mean, this is a nice podium. Plus, if they've got sponsor bonuses, big announcement today, sort of, but not really. We were talking about Puma earlier this year. We saw Puma was with Hunter. And we were like, oh, and looks like they're sponsoring all the races now. And so they officially signed their deal, and it's a 3-year deal, 2027, official foot. Is it and apparel? I think it's foot and apparel.
Probably.
HYROX is growing. I mean, it's like they're going everywhere.
Did they put 3 years with Hunter or 3 years with HYROX?
This is 3 years with HYROX I'm talking about. I'm
Yeah.
saying that we knew they were coming over and we started to see them at races. But remember, there was Adidas gear you could get last year, right?
And Virus or
I don't remember that.
Oh,
Virus
yeah.
you could get.
Virus
Yeah,
was
the
the one.
US in the US you could get. Puma was like all the European races.
Well, Puma gave out there was a finisher shirt from Puma in 2019 that I had. It was a pretty nice shirt. I don't know.
Yeah.
I lost it at some point, which sucks. I
Well,
like it.
Puma's been with HYROX since 2019 in Europe, but not like the worldwide sponsor.
Got it. So I think in New York, they might just use some shirts like, hey, it's our first race here, and then they went away from it.
All right, so here's what I just found. Puma has been a local partner to HYROX since the first ever race held in Hamburg. Puma's new worldwide partnership is testament to the global success of Hard Rock. Oh shit! I thought that was going to say the terms of the deal. Damn it! I'm so bad at this.
So I mean, yeah, Puma's been with them since the beginning, and they were only Europe and the regional sponsor, and now they're the worldwide sponsor.
Yep. All right, the global partnership will see Puma develop a full range of HYROX apparel, utilizing its innovative. We should have had Matt on for this because Matt knows about shoes and apparel. Hafil. It's innovative cloud spun technology that features dry cell moisture wicking properties. Shoes, and they always just make up shit, right? They always just come up with things. But here's the weird names they have. Puma will also release bespoke HYROX colorways of existing footwear models, including the award-winning Velocity Nitro 3, the Deviate Nitro 3, and the Deviate Nitro Elite 3. Does anyone know the difference between all those? Puma will physically activate its global partnership rights, the HYROX events, through the season until 2027. Puma will also support key athletes in the HYROX Elite 15, the top tier of fitness racing, who will exclusively wear Puma's new Deviate Nitro 3 running throughout the season. So I would say look on the feet of the world champs and see who's wearing those, and that might be a clue into who's going to be on the team. I mean, shouldn't they just give it to everybody for the world champs and say, please wear our shoe? But maybe they won't all wear it because it's last minute.
I wouldn't.
Don't give them new shoes for world champs.
No, yeah.
Like something they've never ran in before.
Maybe for the team relay or something if they want. Like,
well, remember that happened last year where My Zone was promised that all the athletes would wear their strap, and they forgot to tell the athletes, and the athletes were like, or maybe it was Vegas, athletes were like, yeah, I'm not putting a new thing on my body that I've never done before the day of the race.
Yeah.
So it's a bad sponsorship. Like, you got to communicate that stuff and make sure that your elites agree to it. I don't think they would do that anymore. I think back in Vegas.
I mean, they can tell them they have to, but just give them notice and let them try, like, use it beforehand, because you don't give them something new. Like, here's your whole new kit, and you have to wear these shoes that you've never worn before. Like in this.
No,
race.
they wouldn't do that. I'm just saying that I think back then it was different. I don't think now they would try to do that. I think in Vegas, they were like, here you go. I mean, they give them all those shirts, and then, they all the men take it off right after the start line. Oh, that's the sign to end the show. Anthony's yawning.
Dude, I've yawned 10 times.
All right. We're 2 hours in. That's as much as I got. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you, especially those that commented consistently. Emily Waldman, I hope you win the contest. I hope you can come on next week. Salamanad, hit me up at me if you want to really bet me on that, because that's a pretty big bet that he'll win. Anthony, we wish you well in France. So we will probably get you on this on Sunday night.
Bonjour, parlez-vous anglais?
Is the race Friday night? When's the race?
Friday night. For you, it's going to be
12:30, I think. Here
noon on Friday. Yeah, 12.
Friday. I thought it was Saturday.
What?
I thought it was Saturday.
No, the race is Friday night.
You better get off work early. All right,
Dave's going to be on his lunch break and watching the race.
Are you recording tomorrow? Who do you have on tomorrow?
This week is just Beth and I. We have a lot to go through.
Okay, I will be listening. Matt Kemp, do you have
a draft too?
Are you?
No draft, just chat.
Matt Kemp, do you have a podcast this week?
No, this is it for me this week. Yeah, once every quarter or so, I meet up with you on a podcast. That's about it. A couple times. A year.
Well, listen, you're part of a winning team now, a world record team, and you've earned a warm place in my heart. So you'll probably come back.
I brought your top commenter today. I think Emily's. That's how she.
You brought the top commenter. Oh, I have to say this. I said this at least maybe once, but Matt Kemp gets the John Stockton Award for an assist because I could not find, after the race ended, Lance. I wanted to get my time with Lance. Didn't know if I would. They disappeared off into whatever, and usually I know where the HYROX HQ is. It's like behind some, pipe and drape or whatever, but I couldn't find it. And I was leaving the venue to go have lunch and take my nap. And Matt Kemp almost ran over me on a city bike. And I was so happy to see him. I was like, oh, hey, Matt. And I happened to say, I don't know where the office is. And you said, oh, I think it's over there behind the porta potties, which it wasn't exactly behind the porta potties, but you get what I'm saying. It was like beyond the porta potties. So I made my way back here, and then there he was. So Matt Kemp, that's the reason I got the view, which is now, I think we're approaching 50K views. So thank you so much for that.
I'll look for my check in the mail. Thanks.
Yeah. 55.5K views. Let's fucking go. All right, guys. Have a great week.
Take care.
See ya.